Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, Friday. Hey, now. You know what time it is. It's Friday. It's after 2 o'clock. It's time for Reese on the radio. All the news and all the views that's fit to spit right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. I hope that every one of you are getting ready for the weekend. I know it's hot out there. I know the weather's been all over the place, but it's the weekend. And I'm actually excited because we're actually driving out to go hang out with the guys who actually do my intro. We're going to go see the Panics tonight, who are performing. And they're going to be performing late. It'll be the first time in a long time I will be out after midnight because Lord knows I'm in bed by 9:30. I don't know about you guys, but around 9:30 I start looking at the clock going, goodness gracious, do you know what time it is? And it's weird because I never thought I would be that guy. I used to laugh at people who used to do that. Who used to look at the time and go, what? 9:30 is too late for you? Yeah, now it's funny because I can't say it. My wife told me not to say it, but when she gets on the show, I'm probably going to make her admit it. I didn't realize it, but I was actually looking at the time too, saying to myself, as soon as I found out that they weren't going on stage until 12, I said to myself, but then another part of me said, now you have an excuse to stay out later. Like, let's see if you can do it. And then Rozan says to me, well, we can always take a nap. And I went, oh, yeah. And I'm excited about taking a nap. That's where I am. And there's a part of me that's somewhat embarrassed, just a small part that's embarrassed that I am going to take a nap so I can go out later. I don't know how to deal with that. I'll come to terms with it in due course, but today I'm kind of beating myself up about it. Hey, what's going on, Eric? Hartford loves Reese. Thank you, sir. And I love Hartford. You wouldn't believe it. Speaking of loving Hartford, we've got a scandal that's happening in the city of Hartford. And I know a lot of attention wasn't brought to it, but it must be discussed today in the opening monologue. Apparently, the Blue Hills Civic Association and the Prosperity Foundation are being investigated for wire fraud. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth about what I did when I saw this news break last night. Not that the name of the groups meant anything, because I'd never heard of them. As you guys know, I'm sparsely related to the folks in Hartford, Connecticut. I started my career there officially in 2004. I've got friends who live in Connecticut. Connecticut has always been that sort of brass ring to me growing up. But I have got to say that in the last 3 years, I have sort of engrossed myself in Connecticut politics. And it is a learning experience over and over and over again. There are plenty of people who I know in the game, and there have been plenty of people I don't know. And the Blue Hills Civic Association and Prosperity Foundation were two organizations I knew nothing about. And I knew nothing about them when I heard that they were under investigation. So I went online and I asked a very, let's just say, racially motivated question. I had to. I'm sorry. I'm not afraid to do what I do. And I'm not afraid to tell you when I do what I do. And I knew it in my heart. I said, are these organizations black run? Are they run by African Americans? Are they associated with the African American community? I had to ask. And of course, the answer was yes. Now, why did I ask? I asked because other people won't. And the Hartford Courant barely mentions it, which is where I saw the article. It doesn't even mention who these organizations serve, which is very important to the story. They serve the African American community. And both of these organizations receive millions of state and federal dollars. So to find out that there's an investigation of wire fraud that involves Blue Hills Civic Association to the tune of $300,000 and the Prosperity Foundation to the tune of $500,000 was alarming, especially after finding out that one of these organizations received as much as, wait for it, $4.45 million. But you know, I do scour the news a lot, and I tell you folks, unlike others, I remember stories when they come across the wire. I was like, wait a minute, I remember Blue Hills was in the news recently, and they were. April 14th. You may not remember the story. Here it is.
The Blue Hills Civic Association is a staple in the Hartford community. But on April 8th, an email was sent to almost every staff member that because of an unforeseen financial challenge, they were being laid off. The Blue Hills Civic Association got rid of all of their staff. Former employees say they found out on April 8th in an email.
We got an email at 10-something at night. At night, they couldn't even come to us. They waited for us to go home.
Dr. Kadian Reed, BHCA Board of Directors Chair, sent the email and cited financial challenges as the reason. But for employees like Confessor Reels, Kelvin Lovejoy, they don't believe that to be the true reason.
Do we matter? Yes, we matter. But the youth, the community, they matter more. The elderly, they matter more. If they couldn't come to us, we used to go to them. We used to provide peace.
We are pretty much in the dark about what has gone on. I will say that, we have some 30 residents of Hartford who work there every day who are devastated by this particular circumstance. And we really just want to find support for them, and then in the larger sense, support for the families.
Now parents and community members worry what will happen to those who rely on the services offered.
So they have a workforce development program, and this is what the youth were looking forward to as something that they can occupy themselves with during the summer. Now, with that being taken away, initially, I will just say that because it's no more at this point. Where are they supposed to go?
Yeah, where are they supposed to go? So that story, April 14th, says that they laid off a bunch of folks over at the Blue Hills Civic Association. April 22nd. This from NPR. Blue Hills Civic Association suffered significant wire transfer fraud before hidden layoffs. Sudden layoffs. Read this. And even NPR can't come to grips with just saying there are thieves amongst Blue Hill. The Blue Hills Civic Association, which provides housing assistance, violence prevention programs, no good luck there, and other services, sparked outcry last week after implementing sudden layoffs across the organization. Residents and former employees demanded answers after at a meeting of the Hartford City Council, saying they had no forewarning. The organization told Connecticut Public last week that it faced unforeseen financial circumstances that triggered the layoff, but declined to answer questions. In a statement provided to members of the City Council Monday, the nonprofit's board of directors provided more detail, saying recently the Blue Hill Civic Association, was the victim of fraud, where a wire transfer was intercepted by a presumed cyber thief. The funds, which were significant, were being transferred to one of the sub-guarantees of the organization. The unexpected loss of funds crippled the organization's ability to continue its work, according to the board. It has since terminated the organization's executive director, Vicki Gallen-Clark, and its chief financial officer after an internal investigation uncovered failures that led to Blue Hill Civic Association being in the unfortunate position, according to a statement. State and federal law enforcement are investigating. Which brings us to today, which now we know that after all of that firing, after all of that so-called cyber theft, a federal grand jury opens a probe into how millions in grants were distributed to Hartford nonprofits. Federal authorities have opened wide-ranging investigations into how tens of millions of dollars are being distributed amongst and spent by an array of nonprofit social service organizations operating in Hartford. Federal prosecutors served subpoenas associated with the grand jury investigation last week, resulting in a flurry of calls to defense lawyers late in the week and over the weekend. Among those believed to be targets of the investigation, according to subpoenas and other sources, is State Senator Douglas McCrory of Bloomfield. His district includes North Hartford. McCrory declined a text message earlier this week to discuss the matter. Also named in the subpoena is McCrory associate Chancellor Cicero Hamlin, who runs a wide-ranging consulting business offering advice to clients on subjects as disparate as human resources and legalized marijuana sales. Cicero's involved in that? Already shady, in my opinion. Anyway, enough of the nonsense. Why are these organizations stealing money, allegedly? They're telling us that somebody got into their finances through a cyber attack, but yet we have an investigation that involves people being fired, forced to resign. People are not returning phone calls or text messages. People are hiring defense attorneys. These organizations in the last year have received millions of dollars that many believe, or at least this investigation is leading to believe, are being mishandled. Millions of dollars. My question is, why give them? Why give them the money? Are there any results? Do these organizations actually do the things that they say that they're supposed to do? Apparently, no one's bothered to look. I checked. I did. I checked. In the years that Blue Hills Civic Association has been around and Prosperity Foundation has been around, do you want to know what the answer was when asked what they've been able to accomplish? Be it violence prevention, jobs, any of those things, lifting people out of poverty. Do you know what the answer is? There's no metric. No one's keeping score. It's like a Little League baseball game in the everyone gets a trophy era. No person. You can put out as many of these business plans you want to, any of these proposals you want to the federal government, to the local government, asking for millions of dollars. But never once has anyone said, hey, are we going to get a progress report? Has anybody reached out to them and said, hey, how well are you doing? No. These folks are allowed to just come back and ask for more. And what's the reason why they're being asked for more money, or they're asking for more money? Because it's never enough. No one seems to have a plan. All they know is that they want to give. And all they ever hear is that they want to receive. And, of course, if you are in a minority group, you can't tell them no nowadays. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say, please stop giving. If these people promise to get kids off the street from committing violence, they should be able to provide results. If they're improving the lives of people who live in the community, getting them out of poverty where they're joining the middle class, we should have proof of that, shouldn't we? They should be made to show us the results of their work, shouldn't they? It shouldn't be they provide jobs. If their jobs aren't getting results, why would we keep funding it? Why would we keep asking the federal government to provide that money to organizations that do squat? We know what it is. We know what the bottom line is. All of this is a slush fund. This money is put into the coffers of organizations like Blue Hills and Prosperity Foundation. No results are ever calculated or tabulated. And then, of course, the usual, the politicians go in there and say, need your vote this November. Need your vote coming up. Special election coming up and need your vote. Get those people out to the polls. That's all it is. Come on, let's be honest. You're supposed to create an organization that's supposed to get rid of the problem they are there to serve, right? End gang violence. If anything, diminish it to the point where it's minuscule, where it's not rising, where it's not fluctuating. By the way, we'll get into that later with Luke Bronin in Hartford as well. But let's be honest, these organizations do nothing. The only thing they do is it's something for someone to stand around and say, I promoted the initiative to bring this, that, and the third. It's resume building. Something to put on their bio. No one has any intent of solving the problem. Why? Because they don't know how. Teaching kids how to get a job? What job? And who's teaching them? What skills? You're teaching kids how to write a resume? For what? Kids don't have jobs. What are they putting on this resume? I went to school? We're giving these folks millions and millions of dollars for kids to write resumes who've never had jobs? Explain this again to me. No one even bothers to ask. How many kids have been able to get a job because of these programs or because of these? Nothing. You never, ever do have anything, do you? Well, let's start asking. Or let's just get to the bottom of where all the money is. Let's find out how much money. Let's find out how much money was fleeced, how much was stolen. Let's get to the bottom of that. When we come back, more news, more views, and more on this subject, because I've got much more to get into as far as the numbers are concerned when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. We're back. Reese on the Radio, WTIC News Talk 1080. Craig in the car says they got $5 million in 2025 alone from the American Relief Package. That's right. That is 100% right. In fact, that total number, the exact number, Craig in the car, is $4.455 million. In fact, which makes all of this stuff very, very crazy. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the alleged scandal of Blue Hill Civic Association and the Prosperity Foundation, both of which appear to be engaged in wire fraud, according to an investigation. They are alleged to have somehow moved $300,000 for the Blue Hill Civic Association and $500,000 related to the Prosperity Foundation. Now, I looked into this, and both foundations are unrelated, unless there's something I don't know. And according to the story in the Hartford Courant that came out last night, several people are lawyering up. And as I played earlier, the Fox 61 channel actually covered the story on April 14th that they had laid off a bunch of staffers, which sounds weird because Blue Hills only lost $300,000 and then laid off some 30, 40 staffers at 10 o'clock at night. Didn't even wait for them to come in. And a lot of those folks, look, who were probably good folks. I mean, one poor gentleman in the piece is crying, probably not just for the folks who, but for himself as well. There are people who thought they were doing good work. They were doing important work. Yeah, they may not have been getting results, but it kept them in business. I'm sorry, it sounds mean to say this, but look, these organizations are not in the business of ever going away. These organizations are there to be there forever. And then they sit around bragging about how long they've been in existence. Hello, NAACP? It's gotten so hard for the NAACP, they actually don't advance colored people anymore. Now they just support whatever the Democrats tell them to. Like, they don't even show up at protests or rallies. They don't even do that anymore. They show up to fundraise. I'm sorry, that's just all they do. Like, the advancement of colored people, that's not a thing. It never was, but it isn't a thing. But they love talking about, we've been in existence for over 100 and blah, 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 blah years. What have you done? Been in existence. And that's the whole job. That's it, to exist. Solve nothing. They don't do anything. To talk about Senator McCrory is none other than the muckraker when it comes to politicians in this city and in this state. Mark in West Hartford's on the line. How are you, buddy?
So I actually missed the beginning part. Is Doug McCrory, where did he come into play? I heard his
According
name
to
invoked
this, let me get to his portion on, the Hartford Courant article. I didn't know you were going to ask that. Let me see where his name is immediately mentioned because, okay, here it is. Among those believed to be the targets of the investigation, according to subpoenas and other sources, in the state, it states that Senator Douglas McCrory, a Bloomfield Democrat, whose district includes North Hartford, McCrory declined in a text message earlier this week to discuss the matter. Also named in subpoenas is McCrory's associate, Sung Saray Cicero Hamlin. And I looked her up, and she is very involved in getting, like, churches restored or buildings restored. She's got a lot of involvement in getting money for certain restoration projects within the black community and getting them funding.
Got it. So let's put it this way. Finally, Doug McCrory is going to get a spotlight that he's long deserved. I don't know if I told you this about him, and one day we'll do a deep dive. Because I'm just going to give you two instances. One, the FBI should have came in, investigated him. He should be in jail right now for what he tried to do. What I found out, I exposed, got a hold of him. They didn't want to know nothing. Of course, you weren't around back then to assist me. And I'll tell you the other one. The first one was, we had this great guy named Doc Hurley. Those of us who grew up in Hartford knew him well. And I'll just give you the quick backstory. He used to raise all kinds of funds. He got it up to $1 million, like annually. And every year he'd feed off of it and send inner city kids off to college. It was unbelievable what he did. He dies. His daughter takes over his nonprofit, squanders well over $1 million, gets caught. It's a terrible story. She commits suicide. In order to honor Doc Hurley, Doug McCrory secures state funds. Us taxpayers gave him $250,000, not to start and replenish the fund and get it up and going again to send young inner city kids to college. But no, he puts a statue of Doc Hurley in his end of town in Hartford that he represents. It's in Keeney Park. It's so disgusting because I knew Doc a little bit. He would be so incensed, in fury, like, what are you doing? That $250,000 could have educated some of our kids, but that's what a shilly is to get votes. Now, let me tell you why he should have been arrested.
Right.
And he should be in jail right now.
Okay.
He tried to present a bill that would have destroyed every upstart and existing brewery in Connecticut. He was trying to present a bill telling these men and women who own these breweries, and it's a hard business. I don't know if you know.
Oh yeah, I know.
Beer.
I know a guy who got his shirt handed to him.
Well, what this bill would have done is said you can either sell your product out of your brewery, or you could distribute, but you can't do both. Now, how they survive is they got people who come in, they try the product, try different ones, they purchase it, and then they also distribute their product to the local package stores.
That's right.
Right? And restaurants, right?
Everywhere you go.
He's trying to propose a bill. So one owner, I like one article I sent you. He goes, I don't understand the animosity toward the industry. Well, guess what I did? I did the easy deep dive. I looked at his campaign donors. The biggest donors were all from the Hartford Beer Distributing Company.
Wow.
I sent it to the FBI. I go, he's trying to create a bill that's going to cater to the people who donate to his campaign.
It's going to handicap small business. Yeah, he's going to handicap small business. Yeah.
Yes. He was trying to handcuff them in order to, I guess, keep them. I don't know if they're – listen, at the end of the day, I'm suspecting, and this is just an allegation, but it's not proven, and I think there's envelopes of cash being passed around. And let me tell you, Doug, if you're listening, I would start doing a cleaning of your file cabinet, because when they go in there, I hope they go back into his past. This is the part I don't.
Well, I don't think that they're going to do this. I don't think that anybody's going to do that. I will tell you right off the bat is that, first of all, I would love to understand why a local politician would have anything to do with a subpoena related to a wire fraud situation with a nonprofit. That doesn't appear to make sense to me unless there is a direct involvement in them. And the reason why I'm saying that is because right now I'm already covering a story all the way out in Sacramento that I talked about here on the show. New evidence is provided that $180 million was mishandled with a school on the West Coast. That sounds eerily similar to this story. And I'm starting to realize that these nonprofits are a joke, man, especially, in the inner city. I'm sorry.
You know my new thing, and I want everybody to do it. Every time in your own town, you probably have several you didn't even know existed. But when they come across, you're reading your local paper and you see an NGO or a nonprofit, go ahead and do a little search on their IRS return and see how much money they're getting and where it's coming from.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at some of the salaries. And they're not big, just like we keep doing Elisa Sharamut from Rivers Alliance. It doesn't matter because it's all the other side hustle.
That's
because
right.
She's working to get a gig somewhere else. And that's the other thing is you got to follow these people. Once they leave, they stay 3, 4, 5 years. Then the next one steps up. You see them right in the tax return. You'll see somebody be a director. They're there for 4 or 5 years. They leave. You'll see the person underneath them. They move up. And then if you follow where the director went, a lot of times they're getting a job with the state.
Yep.
Because they've done their job.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
You don't think Alicia's going to get a payoff down the road
without
and get a state gig?
Without a doubt. And again, that's why
right.
this part of the investigation is just right now it's at the beginning, but I'm pretty sure it's going to get dirtier. Thanks, Mark.
Well,
I appreciate
Doug McGrory, thank you for allowing me to name another charlatan. Really unknown.
Indeed.
Yeah.
That's the part that gives that really, really drives me up the wall, right? And I do take it personal because I've been who I am for years. I've been in this medium for years. The only thing I ever do is talk. I've had no one come into me and hand me a check or grease my pockets or my palms. What is it? Grease my palms, line my pockets? Yeah. I've never had anybody. I don't even know the phrase. That's why it's never happened to me. But I've never been this guy who's been told what to say or what to think. And I'm the first person called a charlatan. The first. Like the story in Sacramento, that story about Jay King, that guy was the first. I used to do a podcast with the guy. Our contentious relationship was always about my conservatism as a black person and him who cared so much about black folks. The organization he's associated with just took $180 million, folks. $180 million for K through 12 schools. Money that's allotted for K through 12 schools. His organization took that money for an adult education group where thousands of teachers were teaching classes who had no certifications to teach those classes. They all had to be fired. There were some thousands that were working there. They're now down to like 74 teachers. They're the only ones credentialed after thousands. Same case here, like Blue Hill. You got all of these people who have jobs doing what? I don't know. No clarification on what they do or what their work product has produced. Nothing. And then the audit comes out, $180 million in Sacramento. One organization. Turns out no certified teachers. Oh, by the way, and no records of students. No records of students anywhere. And I'm sorry, the constant refrain is call out that nefarious and clearly illegal activity. Okay, let's call it unethical. Call it out, and you're the Uncle Tom, the sellout. While they're stealing money to serve no one but themselves. Spare me. That's why, again, I despise these groups that get caught up in this stuff. You do nothing for no one but yourselves. You use these people. You use these people to enrich yourself. You always have. This is why no one trusts you. And I'm sick and tired of people telling me that these people are out here for the good. None of them are. They are self-serving crooks, in my view. And every time you turn around, there's another $1 million of your taxpayers, tax money that's being wasted. It's being wasted. And you keep asking yourself, why is it only getting worse over there? Why does it never get better? Why are they still complaining? Didn't we give them $5 million? What's wrong? Did we not care enough? Did we not give enough? You can never give enough, folks. You never could. So that's why I'm telling you, stop. But Reese, they might starve. Fine. Let them starve. Let them do what the rest of us did when we were starving. Every one of us, you too. Let them do what everybody else here had to do when they were starving. Work. Bust their tail. Everybody had to do it. Make them do it too. Stop feeling sorry for them. They'll get it together. Or they won't. But stop footing the bill for that nonsense and their criminal activity, allegedly. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the Radio. All right, we're back. Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080, WTIC. Let's get to Frankie Boy. What's going on, sir? Frank?
What happened?
I got you here, buddy. Can you hear me? Okay, maybe not. What's up, Georgie?
Hi, Reese. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris just reemerged again, and they've demonstrated to everybody that they're just as incompetent as they've ever been. Every 2, 4, and 6 years, we have elections, and there's no competency test that goes down. There's no administrative skills, no business experience, and we keep electing these boobs to political offices.
I don't think we're going to have to concern ourselves with those two anymore.
Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. We're all passengers on a 747, okay?
Okay.
and everything's sealed and locked up and ready to take off. And we have elections. You have elections on who's going to pilot the airplane.
Okay.
Yeah. So you pick out somebody to pilot the airplane, and you sit them in the left-hand seat, and they have absolutely no idea how to fly this thing from A to B or take off or land. And this is what we do. This is how you pick your politicians. They have no experience.
I don't think
whatsoever.
we're going to have that problem. And in fact, I've got another story I've got to deal with in headlines coming up in a bit on that same subject. But thank you, George. I appreciate you, sir. Nothing against the guy. I know sometimes he wants to just go on a tear about stuff that he cares about, but I'm kind of in the middle of the subject. We need to understand this whole deal with the outright theft of money, tax dollars, and resources from the Grievance Council. And it's done in a sense of everybody is sick and tired of having to compensate folks who have decided they're not going to figure it out themselves. But here's something I want everybody to consider, just for the argument of this whole discussion, or the basis of this whole discussion, okay? Blue Hills Civic Association and the Prosperity Foundation, or the NAACP, or the Urban League, or Black Lives Matter 860. It doesn't matter who they are, okay? Let's just start with this premise. One, they do not represent anybody but themselves. They don't. They only represent themselves. They can't represent anyone but themselves. If you ask the community they claim to represent what they know or think about those groups I just mentioned, they either have never heard of them or wouldn't know how to get in touch with them. They wouldn't know a member, a president, a spokesperson. They wouldn't know, because they would tell you, in their words, nah, they ain't out in these streets, because they're not. Those organizations are designed to find your guilt, to siphon from your guilt. They come at you and they tell you the same thing over and over again. We're here to help this group, that disenfranchised group of people or whatever. That's all it's for. That's it. It's nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with themselves. So just stop giving them money, because the money's never going to go to them. It's never going to go to those groups. That violence and that whatever problem it is going to persist, because even the bozos who are collecting the dollars don't know how to end it. Because if they could do it for nothing. I can. If one of those groups were to ask me, I'd tell them exactly how to solve the problem. But they won't ask, because they don't want to solve the problem. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Let's get to the top of the hour news coming up with John Silva, and we'll be back with headlines when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
All right, let's get to some headlines. No? Maybe? There we go. This triggering mechanism is a little slow. Our headlines for today: Ghislaine Maxwell has been moved to what the New York Post is describing as a cushy new Texas prison in the town of Bryan, they're calling it. It's in northwest of Houston. There's no reason for the move that's been given so far, but many people are speculating that this cushy new prison from Florida all the way to Texas is because of some deal that might be in place. But there are no details that suggest that. Plus, the attorney for Ghislaine Maxwell has not responded to any requests for what that's about. You guys may have heard this sensation that happened at a Coldplay concert that got a lot of attention. I refuse to cover it because it was just too silly. But I don't know what people were making of it. But the whole story was some company CEO was seen hanging out with his HR employee at a Coldplay concert, and the kiss cam went around, and they were caught hugging on the kiss cam, which then got them busted, divorced, resigned, and a whole nine. It's a mess, but I don't know what the story is. I don't even understand why people were interested in the story, but they were. That being said, a new study has come out because of this, which talks about out of all the 50 states, which states are considered more likely to have cheaters or people having an affair. Let me first warn you that Connecticut, you were not high on the list. All right, Connecticut. Look at you, faithful, monogamous folks. You may vote blue, but you're not blue on marriage and relationships. That's great. But let me tell you some of the top states in the survey. And I got to go backwards because number 2 is interesting. Number 1, you have to figure. Number 5 on the list was Hawaii. Number 4 on the list, Wyoming. Number 3, makes sense, Nevada. Number 2 is insane because it's one of the last states you would think had a high rate of infidelity. And it's also weird because there are not many people there, but based on the ratio, Alaska rounded out spot number 2. And then the obvious spot went to New York because of all the scoundrels that live in that state. But Alaska was number 2 on the list. Is that crazy? Number 2.
Man, it's cold in the winter.
I know it's cold.
You got to keep warm somehow.
Apparently, you need to keep warm with as many people as possible.
That's it.
It makes no sense. Oh, man. Oh, and the sad trombone goes to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Today, it's winding down its operations after its funding was eliminated by the Trump administration and Congress. The the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is a private nonprofit that serves as a steward for funding public media. It provides funds to public radio and television stations, including PBS and NPR. It employs about 100 people, and they cannot sustain that number of people, so they're going to have to shut down operations, they announced today. Now for the stupidest thing I read today.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Do you remember this guy? This guy made it to our coveted Thursday position of Negro nonsense. It is Fire Marshal Jamal Bowman.
You can't be calm about this. I'm a black man in America. The reason why heart disease...
I'm white, I can't comment
Listen
on
to what I'm saying. The reason why heart disease and cancer and obesity and diabetes are bigger in the black community is because of the stress we carry from having to deal with being called the N-word directly or indirectly every day.
Yes, rap music is giving black folks cancer. Just so you know, Spike Lee films giving black people cancer since the 1980s. Quentin Tarantino, also responsible for diabetes and cancer in the black community. Because those places call Jamal Bowman the N-word more often than other folks. I'm just saying. So Quentin, Spike Lee, tone it down. Save a life. Well, anyway, Jamal Bowman, he has just been given the craziest position ever. And if this guy wins the mayoral election, you can see Jamal Bowman again. New York mayoral candidate Rozan Mamdani has gone from communist and Marxist to all-out nut job because he has tapped that man, Fire Marshal Jamal Bowman, as his education chancellor of all things. That guy is going to be the education chancellor. This is what he's going to be educating schools around New York City.
You can't be calm about this. I'm a black man in America. The reason why heart disease...
I'm white, I can't comment
Listen
on
to what I'm saying. The reason why heart disease and cancer and
racist.
obesity
Yes,
and diabetes are bigger in the black community is because of the stress we carry from having to deal with being called the N-word directly or indirectly every day.
Oh, the education system is going to be fantastic in New York. I cannot wait.
Reese, as a concerned person, have you gone ahead of physical lately?
No, I was just
I'm your
thinking,
friend. I want to make sure.
You are right, because you have no idea. Just yesterday, I listened to an entire NWA album.
Oh,
and
you're dead. How are you still with us?
Exactly. I should have cancer cells all through my body.
Wow. Yeah, you should. Wow.
Yeah. It's a miracle that I'm still with us.
Praise be Jesus.
Again, that's what... I don't have to write this stuff, folks. It's just the stupid stuff that I read, but it's there every day. I told you the minute that I started this bit, it was never going to die. I warned you. I mean, I think you all agreed that it was going to be like... And I am now, by the way, and you know what? Maybe I should. I'm actually going to do it today. I'm going to create a page on my website, reeseontheradio.com, REESE on the radio.com, that you can go to and you can give me your stupidest thing you've read today. That's what we got to do. I have to do it. And you know what? If it's great, what I'll do is I'll give you credit for it. I'll say, like, John S. is responsible for this story. Brought to you by John S. in Waterbury or something like that. Do something like that. I'm going to create the site today, or at least the link on the site today, where you can put a link to your most ridiculous thing or stupidest thing that you read today, so that we can start doing it on there. Because, again, it's not hard for me to find it, but I want to read some of the stupid things you guys have read, because I'm sure you have. And also, it gets people reading again, you know? You should start calling him Fire Marshal Bill. Fire Marshal Bowman, that's how he got the name. Also, after we take the phone calls, I've got to get into Luke Bronin and John Larson.
You know, you just gave me an idea, too.
What's that?
We can end racism if we bring back In Living Color.
You know what? Yeah. You're absolutely right. Because they were, the reason why they were who they were, and the reason why Saturday Night Live had to step up its game, it's because of that competition.
Oh my gosh, it was a magical experience watching that show.
Exactly. And do you know this? You probably know this tidbit, that In Living Color is the reason why we have a halftime show.
Yeah.
They really forced the NFL to keep people from tuning out because of that little skit they did back in the 90s. Of doing a halftime program while the halftime game, or the halftime, halftime of the Super Bowl. But that was so brilliant, and they timed it perfectly that you could watch In Living Color and go right back to the game. But yeah, that's the reason why they had to do it. They need to come back. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. We need that and pop-up videos from VH1 again.
That was a great show. Oh, my goodness.
You learned more stuff watching that than anything.
You know what? It's funny because that concept was kind of a deer in a headlight thing, because you could watch a video to a song you really weren't into, but you knew, and watched it just so you could find out more information about said song or music video. It was informational, and it was reading. It was it was everything. That was such a smart show. I wonder what caused it to end. I think it's because music videos were everywhere, and the ratings, MTV kind of got out of the music video thing. But, people still do music videos. I don't understand why you don't do that.
Yeah, you got to bring that back.
They got to bring that back. Also, you know what actually was another show of mine that I loved? Behind the Music.
Yeah.
I thought, and still to this day, I still think the greatest Behind the Music that was ever done was Thin Lizzy. Have you ever seen that one?
No.
It's really good.
It's one of those things. It's like a lot of TV networks and channels have like all those digital channels. Like there's a whole modern Marvel, like the all those like channels that are like there's an entire Baywatch channel.
Yes, exactly.
MacGyver. I was like, that show needs one of those, and we need to bring back pop-up videos on a digital channel like that.
Yeah, that's you're exactly right.
Behind the music, and then
behind the music. Only reason why, and I say that they have this other thing called Unsung that they did on BET or VH1 or one of those things. But behind the music was great because it was so. The thing that made it fantastic is because, of course, they had the group's interviews and testimonials in the show and in giving some backgrounds and them talking about those events that happened in the life of the band, which was really, really cool. But Thin Lizzy, a band I only knew musically, got to understand their background, like where they come, and they became my favorite group because of Behind the Music. And they were short-lived as a band, but I love them to this day. I even followed the careers of his daughters after that. Because of the lead singer's daughters after that, because I was so intrigued by that Behind the Music. It's one of the best ones ever done. Anyway, I want to go to the phones. Like I was saying, Luke Bronin and John Larson. Yesterday, I was talking about John Larson's statement about making change. And Luke Bronin is talking about how he's the candidate of change. Well, I did some research on what his policy positions are. And I got a new versus not new gauge on his positions. You're going to be surprised. The next person who interviews him, which I'm sure might be Brian on this network or anybody else for that matter, I want you to listen. I want you to take this list to heart because it's not everything that it seems with this so-called new fangled Democrat. I need to get into that in a little bit. Frank, let's go to him real quick because he called before and we couldn't get him on the line. Frank, you there?
Good. How you doing? You would think that $42 trillion would solve a problem, right? That's how much money we spent since January 4th, 1964, when the Democrats, Lyndon Johnson, declared the war on poverty.
Did you say 42? I'm almost positive it's another 10 trill.
Well, it could be 52, but either way, you would have thought we would have solved the problem and we still have as many poor people now as we do ever in America.
Well, if you were to ask poor people, it's more poor people today than ever before.
There's only one thing stopping a black man in America. I told you this 20 years ago. Remember what I told you? Look in the mirror.
Look.
That's it. Take responsibility for your actions like everybody else. And second, this radio station's been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
And we've had fools call up this radio station. But wait, Mike, listen carefully. There is no beautiful black woman, the queen, that salivates about being a white blonde. That white blonde you're
Whoa. Slow down. I can show you a couple of pictures, Franks, of none other than Beyonce doing a country album with blonde hair wearing blue jeans. Come on.
She's an entertainer. Listen, these white blondes are at the beach like all these white women getting a tan. They want to be black. Remember what I always tell you?
I know that.
Black people, what did I always tell you? Everybody wants to be black until the cops show up.
Or they're called. You're 100% right. I know.
Right.
Listen, I know the drill, my friend. My whole tongue-in-cheek yesterday about Sydney Sweeney was just that, and that is this idea that just because American Eagle did this bit, now all of a sudden everybody else is supposed to feel shame or supposed to feel like they are being called out. It has nothing to do with it. It's just for them, it's clownish, and I reject anybody who's upset.
Right, but this is why I don't like all-white communities. Because when you live in an all-white community, you think only white women are good-looking. They're not.
Hold on. No. Wait. You're 100% right about that, Frank. Now, look, this is scary, but it's true. And people don't like to say this. So I was watching this over my old neighborhood. I used to live in, of course, Hollis, Queens is where I grew up. And a deep part of Hollis, Queens, where I grew up, in fact, first we had white flight, then we had black flight in Hollis, Queens. And the white flight was in the late 70s, the early 80s. A lot of white folks still lived in my community in the mid to late 80s, 86 to 87. Then black folks who either worked for the government locally, worked in municipal buildings and stuff like that locally, they made enough money to sell their home because a lot of them own their home and move to Virginia or move to North Carolina. And they did. And all of their homes were bought by folks from Pakistan or India. So we saw a huge influx. I remember going back to my old neighborhood on Jamaica Avenue in 2006, and I thought I was in New Delhi. That's how changed it was. But what I found more interesting is that the black boys and the white boys who still lived in my community were all dating Indian and Pakistani girls. So you see your point is well proven in that scope. They all you end up dating the people who are in your community, and that changes because of people who move in and move out.
Right, but here's one thing before I go. Record amount of people at the beach this Connecticut. They had to turn people away. Who's on that beach laid out getting a suntan? These white women.
That's because black folks don't need it.
They look like a bunch of marshmallows laying on that beach.
Goodbye. We got to take a break. More news, more views when we return. Bob Larson. Is it John Larson? John Larson. Sorry, Bob Larson. John Larson, Luke Bronin. We'll talk about that when we get back. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Guys, do me a favor. I need you to humor me for a minute, okay? Just humor me. Yes, Bob or Rob, what can I do for you?
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry, Reese. We're here on speaker. Oh, yes. Yesterday, I didn't mean to cut you short, but it seemed like we were on the same page. Sorry about that.
Yes, sir. The only page there is on the Reese on the Radio program is Reese on the Radio's page. You seem to want to talk about Uvalde and the police officers there, and I was talking about something entirely different.
No, about talking change. About things got to change. We mentioned about change today. That's my purpose today. It's about the Blue Hills.
Yeah, what about?
They found out there's corruption, and they ended up shutting it down. So I would consider that, if you let me talk, change. But now, I don't know if you heard about the newspaper called the New Haven Register, Record Journal. The Department of Corrections. Did you see the article today? If you haven't, I'll be surprised, being that you're on the radio. They're estimating there's like 300 people who have been on paid administrative leave for over 3 to 5 years. And that equivalates to a hell of a lot more than the $300,000 in corruption at Blue Hills. And after that, there is another situation where this Groton police officer spits in a dude's face, and it's just on Morgan Cunningham, one of these guys.
Well, I've talked about that story. But now, Rob, hold on for a second. Rob, hold on for a second. Rob, hold on for a second. Okay, so you brought up
Tell me what to think.
You brought up 3 different stories. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry to bother your head.
No. You're not. I'm
sorry. I am sorry.
Rob, do you want to talk on the radio, or do you want to,
I want to listen to what I'm supposed to listen to.
I just want you to listen. You have to stop talking in order to do that. I was quiet.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, let's start with the first, okay? When you start comparing one bit of corruption to the other one, as if to suggest that...
Oh, okay.
Why are you interrupting? Okay. Now, I'm going to say this kind of being kind. You can call the station whenever you want. I'm just going to let you know that there are some people I'm just not going to pick up anymore. It's been a year now. I think I've been fair. I think I've been considerate. Okay? And I'm going to say this one last time. It is not your show. And I've been kind because I've given that olive branch by saying, you know what? I'll let you guys participate. You know what? Why not? I can't do that anymore. Here's why. Because it's the constant disrespect, treating it like it's owed to you, this entitlement. I can't tolerate it anymore. I am as gracious as I possibly can be. But if you don't get it, let me explain. I'm a bully. I'm a hater by nature. It's instilled in me. I'm not bitter, but I am a hater. And I am a bully. I grew up this way. I know what it's like to have those things set upon me, hatred and bullying. I learned how to take care of myself, and I became a bully and a hater for good. Your intentions, some of you, and you know who you are not pure. They are not. They are self-serving. They are ignorant and selfish. And I can no longer be kind to you. I've tried because you have no interest in being kind to me. You've shown me disrespect far too often. And now I'm done. Please, kindly, stay away from me. Okay? You can hate, you can call the people in the front office, you can do whatever you want. But leave me be. I've been kind. It is on the record. It is recorded in history that I've been kind and considerate. I'm done doing that. Please find someplace else or someone else to either harass or harangue or to bother. That level has peaked. Okay? Now, let me move on. William Tong is a worm. Why? Let me explain. He wrote this letter to the Honorable Senators Henry Martin and to the Honorable Senator Eric Berthel. Dear Senators Martin and Berthel, we are in receipt of your letter dated July 8, 2025 regarding Project Veritas. Due to the serious allegations that have been raised about the accuracy and veracity of Project Veritas's practices and the past refusal by Project Veritas to respond to requests for information from our office, it is the policy of the Office of the Attorney General not to respond to the allegations based solely on Project Veritas's reports. As always, should someone wish to share information of evidence regarding misconduct that implicates the statutory authority of the Office of the Attorney General, we will review that information and act accordingly. From the office of William Tong, what are we talking about? We are talking about the story of Elvira Said and her daughter, Irene Said. Her daughter no longer lives. She took her own life in 2024. Why did she take her life? Well, because of a great deal of circumstances, one of which involved Eileen's engagement with the Reverend of the Metropolitan Community Church of Hartford, one Reverend Aaron Miller, who called CPS on Elvira, her mother, to separate her daughter from her, which then, due to confusion, suicidal ideation, the passing of her father, and a host of things, this young lady took her life. Elvira Said believes that her daughter is dead because of the actions of Reverend Aaron Miller. Project Veritas, in learning that story, recorded Reverend Aaron Miller and another, I guess, a teen supporter, I can't remember Fiorello's name, but anyway, another transgender individual breaking the law by providing chest binders to a 12-year-old, or at least the person they believed was 12 years old, a violation of the law. A letter was sent by these two senators, as one sent by Reverend Jacob Dell. And William Tong has ignored those pleas for an investigation into the Metropolitan Community Church of Hartford. Why? Because William Tong has picked a side.
People struggled on both sides of the aisle. Democrats struggled. Republicans struggled. Gay people struggled. They struggled with trans people, gender dysphoria. They struggled with the therapies, the medication. We didn't have the tools. We didn't have the language. And it was a really bumpy ride. And I remember having a conversation because I, too, like a lot of us, when we would sit there in public hearings and people would come before us and try to explain gender dysphoria, and we had never heard of it before, and it was just like we struggled. And after a public hearing, a senior legislator noticed that I was struggling and called me on the phone. And And he said, here, I saw you struggling there, and, how are you thinking about this bill? And I said, well, how do you think about it? How should we think about it? And he had admitted his own struggle. He said, it's tough. And we're learning about gender dysphoria. But I have a really simple question for you. As a legislator, as a lawmaker, and now a law enforcement official, are you in the business of discriminating against people? The answer is no. And we never will here in Connecticut.
You're a damn liar. You're a damn liar. You are in the business of discriminating against people. You discriminate against people who do not believe in the newfound ideology you have of gender dysphoria and mutilating children. Because here you have a mother who's asking for your help that resulted in the death of her child after she lost her husband, and you have no interest in talking to her. Your office has no interest in speaking to her. You do not believe in equal under the law. You do believe in discrimination. You are a damned liar. You found an opportunity to go after the President of the United States, and you jumped on it like a dog with a bone. You don't care what the issue is. You never have. You came to the decision about gender dysphoria because you didn't want to discriminate against someone, because someone asked you a question. Not one of you bozos bothered to look up what was gender dysphoria while you were making a decision about a bill. That's what you tell me? You two had a conversation? That's how you decided on the mutilation of children? You sat around and said, let's have a talk over the phone. That's why you did it? How do I know that you're a bozo and a worm? Here's why. Because you had the audacity to say this in public.
We learned about gender dysphoria. We learned about care. We learned that medical experts, including every major national medical association, everybody.
Lies. Everybody means everybody. You are a liar.
Right? Agrees that gender-affirming care, medical care is not only necessary, but in many cases, it's life-saving.
Why have so many hospitals decided to no longer do it? Why did they ban it in other countries? You're a liar. You are talking out the side of your face and you don't know what you're talking about. But then again, do you ever? The only thing you saw was Trump's name. You don't even know what you're talking about. You had to look down at your notes. This is not something you feel in your heart. This is not something you know inside your head. This is something you rehearsed. You're a worm. Let's go one step further there, William Tong, because this is the piece of cake of all pieces of cake. You had the audacity to say this after the letter you sent to the senators about not investigating it because of Project Veritas. A woman named Elvira Saeed is concerned about any other child that might succumb to this kind of intervention. You had the audacity to say this during your press conference.
And so we're here today to defend children, parents, families. That's what this fight is about.
Liar! You're not here to do anything but to get press. You are not here to do anything but get your face in the paper and on the news. You're a liar. You don't care about parents. You don't care about families. Because if you cared about them, you cared about families on the other side who don't want to see this happen to their children. You don't know anything about this subject. You are clueless. And the rest of the press who said nothing, didn't even ask a question, just stood around with your cameras, just letting him just bloviate about something he knows nothing about so you can get a soundbite. Shame on you. This guy's saying that this is about life and death. That's the only thing he got right. What's happening to these children is altering their bodies to the point where they end up dying because of estrogen levels that are through the roof, or they end up killing themselves anyway because they regret the procedure. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's in it for himself. He's no better than these stupid organizations who take money and just line their own pockets. This guy is a cretin. I'm sorry, he just is. And no one's got the guts to call him out. I don't know what they're afraid of. Why? Because he's a law enforcement officer? Why? Because he's probably going to abuse his power? Good. As I always say, I await the hate. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I believe Christine in Middletown was actually at this press conference. Christine, is that correct?
Yes, I did not have any media credentials like I did a couple of years ago when I questioned the governor about the creation. Yeah,
so I saw your videos you sent me. You were pretty far back from the actual web, but you got great audio. Don't get me wrong. You got really, really good audio. I just got tipped off to the link that it was on, and that was the reason why I was able to get such clear audio. But answer this question for me real quick before you get to what you experienced there. What was the, if any, back and forth between Tong and the other speakers and reporters, if any?
There were two television media people, one from Channel 30, one from Channel 61. I introduced myself and gave a card to the Channel 30 reporter. Mm-hmm. Both of them never asked a question of the Attorney General. A couple of other people did. There was very little question and answer ceremony today.
Mm-hmm. Did they sort of like accost the Attorney General like to him and just say, what about this, that, and the third? Like, there wasn't a question and answer while he was at the podium. Was it like as he was leaving, some people were asking him questions?
No, it was he was at the podium and only a couple people asked him anything.
Anything you can remember? Anything you can remember that was asked?
No, nothing pressing. They're like, is the hospital gonna give care still? And they didn't press. And if someone had asked me, I go, well, I don't advocate medical transition for kids. I would have said, yeah, I do want to keep the health care with the parents and all that, but we have to be fair to all parents. What about the Project Veritas story that affected a Connecticut resident? How come the Attorney General never reached out to Elvira Said and downplayed it and called Project Veritas gotcha journalism and dismissed it? That's not right.
Yeah.
He's not serving us, we the people. And I think this is his 15th lawsuit against Donald Trump. And how much is that going to cost us, we the people?
Exactly. I mean, that he's not using his own money here. And there's never been, and which frightens the heck out of me, there's never been a call for William Tong to stop wasting Connecticut's money on these lawsuits to gain, press credentials in the sense of, getting sound bites and media attention to himself. Because that's all this is useful for. He's going to get beaten in court. He knows he's going to get beaten in court. And if this is just a play because he wants to run for governor at some time in his career, that's all well and good. But he shouldn't be doing it at the expense of Connecticut taxpayers. That's just another thing. But anyway.
You're right. And plus, how was I? You asked how I was received. Not very good. They don't throw the red carpet out for me. That's why I was further in the back. So.
Who were some of the other people who were there, Christine? Because I know it's a young lady who spoke who was wearing like a pink sweater kind of cardigan kind of thing. I didn't really sit around for a speech because I was preparing for the show. But was there anyone else who spoke?
A parent spoke.
Okay, so just one parent who supports gender-affirming care for their child.
Yes, that was it. That's all that spoke. He didn't introduce many people either.
Oh, so he didn't have wide-ranging support of like tens of families to support this.
there weren't that many people there. There were some trans activists there, and we don't see eye to eye on many things. So, I'm not in the club there. I'm in.
Who are these trans activists? Do these groups have names? Because I never hear.
One of them works at Q Plus, which is an organization geared for children.
Q Plus.
Q Plus, yeah.
Okay, good. No, I'm going to look them up and see if I can actually get them on the show. That's what I want to do. I want to talk to some of these people and who claim, like William Tong did, that everybody in the medical profession supports gender-affirming care for children. I want to question them on it, and I'm sure that they're going to turn around and say, well, maybe he shouldn't have said that. I got to go, Christine, but I'm glad you were there. If you get any more details about, our good reverend at the Metropolitan Community Church, you let me know, okay? Is he still in hiding?
Absolutely.
Is he still in hiding?
So far, yes.
That's
I
okay.
haven't heard an update about the August services, whether it'll be in person or just strictly on remote.
He has been remote as of late, hasn't he?
The whole month of July, yes. And I haven't seen anything about August or anything going forward yet.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate you. Yeah, keep hiding, buddy. Let's get to some weather and traffic. Jason Caterina is back, and our good friend Tom O'Hanlon is in for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. No doubt. I'm loving every bit of it. Expanding our horizons is what we do here at WTIC. So you can always check us out, all of those places. That's why those commercials are important. I talked about this earlier. Before Rozan joins us in a little bit, she'll be here for Ladies' Night. I talked about Luke Bronin running against John Larson. And they are having this back and forth, not just between them, but the Democrat Party is having this back and forth about the old guard versus the new school, I guess, which is the big debate. We'll get into that a little bit, but if you've listened to this show long enough, you know I've said it over and over again. There is no different because there are no new ideas. There may be some differences in approaches, but it is always the same issues that Democrats deal with. They have no new ideas, like something they've never done before. Like there's nothing you're going to hear from a Democrat that says, oh, you know what? That's a new thing. And Luke Bronin is no different. We checked. We went to his campaign. We found all the things that he's interested in doing for the state of Connecticut. And, of course, we found nothing that was new. Zero. And we'll break all of them down directly. And, again, that's the point. People running around talking about their new, and then you find out their policies are just old stuff. Put in new packaging. We'll break that down. Jason Caterina's back. He's got your weather. And Tom O'Hanlon. We love him now. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. We're back, Reese, on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Let me get both of these calls real quick so I can get to your story about Luke Bronin, and it's interesting. James is in Windsor. How we doing, brother from another mother?
Hey, but we're still brothers.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, I heard about this. I think it was the Italian gentleman, the one that liked women.
Loves black women. Yes, that is Frankie,
right,
baby.
Right. Yeah. That's the one that got the gorilla on his back about black women.
Yes,
so,
he does.
There was something about tanning, right? Now, black people can sunburn.
Yes, you know what? I have experienced it. I have sunburned.
Yeah, but then again, there's a joke we used to say in Harlem.
Okay.
Now, I hope I don't offend anybody.
Okay.
But I don't mean to. This is a joke.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Protect the license. Okay. Go ahead.
Right. You know how black people can tan?
Yes.
They lay down on their back and put their hands and feet in the air.
I think that's okay. That's acceptable. I think
no. But people are so sensitive to this day.
No, I get it.
You can't even say Huh? You can't say a knock-knock joke without being a racist.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
You
Why?
know,
Is
so-
that because
so-
is that because black people do not knock? Is that what, no, I'm kidding. I'm messing.
Well,
I'm
well
messing
no,
around.
no. You know how the black people put in the light bulb?
Oh, no, you're not allowed. Nope, no, you can't do that one. No, you can't. You can't do that one.
Okay,
That-
you know how black people make popcorn?
No, you can't do that one either. I'm letting you go. We're out of here.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You got it, man. Fulton is in Waterbury. How are you, sir?
What's up, buddy? What's up? I got a question. Who is funding that church? Like, where is Aaron Miller and that guy Tony? Where do they get their money from? How do they live?
I'm sorry, you talking about Luke Bronin?
No, I'm talking about the church. The church is
Okay. Now that's a great.
Aaron Miller,
That is a great question. I'm assuming
what's his
through
affiliation with Yale too?
I'm sure that there are some sort of endowments and some sort of fundraising that goes into those churches. I would love to see their books in that regard, but yeah, I don't know exactly how they own it. They have a brick and mortar church. I would love to know how they pay their
So they have
bills.
one mass a week, right? And you think they pass the basket around? How much do they take and go? Honestly,
It's a great,
They're not funded somehow by somebody.
great question, but they are. Listen, I know they have a relationship with the governor, and I'm damn well certain they have a relationship with the legislature, if not everybody on the Democrat side.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's about money and whatever else. They want to bring back the money for the hospitals or whatever else.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
I
yeah.
should ask that at the time. Like, if the hospital said no, well, what are you fighting for? I don't understand. Where are you going to get the surgery? You can't get it here.
Exactly, and again, look, we know that there are a couple of hospitals here in Connecticut that have refused to do this surgery for children. Now they've been told, many people have reported under the pressure of the Trump administration. Look, they're going to lose this argument no matter what, because as much as they keep telling everybody that they need to get this surgery for children, it is still cosmetic. It's life-threatening, but it's cosmetic no matter what. It's sort of like saying my kid's going to kill themselves if they don't get a nose job.
Right.
So, I don't know.
I just wonder, I'm sure the guy has a Yale education. That's not cheap. Like, that guy Tony lives. I'm sure they have really good Subarus or whatever they're driving, So, that was my one joke I got in. But, but that's what I mean. Like, where are they living? Like, they live in a house somewhere. They pay a note on that, too, and the church and their cars, and they live? I don't know.
That's a great question. You know what? That may have to be our next venture into the finances. That maybe we have to go there.
If it's state funded, if we're state backing this nonsense.
Yeah, that's true, because it's quite possible the state could be footing the bill for the church. You never know.
Right?
Yep.
Who knows?
Thank you, sir.
Good weekend, man. Say hello to your wife for everybody.
Thank you, man. You got it. Thanks, sir. In fact, when the wife comes in, it turns out American Eagle has issued a statement about Sydney Sweeney. I'll get to that also when Rozan joins us. Let me get into this about Luke Bronin. So I did this search and this survey through AI, and it was a simple ask. What is Luke Bronin's policy prescriptions that are different from the Democrat Party in the last 30 years? Now, that's fair because that's more than a generation. And again, Luke Bronin is supposed to be the new guy. He's New Jack City versus OG, original gangster, John Larson. Okay? So he's clearly got to have some ideas that are, new. That's, something we've never heard before. I thought 30 years was a good, considerable amount of time to find out what's he bringing to the table that we've never seen before. So it brought up novelty, new, not new, or old. Right? New, not new, or kind of new. Here's what it came up with. Economic fairness, middle-class focus, and cost reduction. Context. Middle-class economic policies, e.g. tax relief, cost reduction, have been Democratic staples since the 1990s. Clinton 1993 budget. Housing and health care concerns predate 1995. Analysis, Bronin's framing is standard. No unique mechanisms are proposed. Evidence, Democratic platforms since 1996 to 2024. Novelty, not new. Climate action. Context, climate policy gained urgency post-2000, e.g., Kyoto Protocol, 1997, Paris Agreement, 2015, pre-1995 environmental policy focused on pollution, not systemic climate change. Analysis, Bronin emphasis reflects post-2010 urgency, e.g., Green New Deal influence, but specific proposals lack detail to assess the novelty. Evidence, EPA and IPCC reports show post-1995 shift. Novelty, partially new. Gun control. Context, gun control debates intensified post-1995, e.g. the 1994 assault weapons ban. With Connecticut's law strengthening post of Sandy Hook in 2012, analysis says Bronin's support for existing Connecticut laws is a continuation, not new. Evidence, Connecticut gun laws, 1990 to 2020s. Of course, his novelty was rated not new. Consumer protections. The consumer protections context is consumer protections predates 1995. Bronin's Obama-era CFPB work, post-2010, is newer, but not in its original policy. Advocacy builds on established frameworks. Evidence coming from the CFPB history. Its novelty, not new. Constitutional defense and party renewal. This was graded partially new. Partially. And these are all of his policies based upon his own website. He got, as we recap, a partially new on climate action, a partially new on constitutional defense and party renewal. All the rest, climate action, economic fairness, not new. Gun control, not new. Consumer protection, not new. He's not offering anything new. So as I told you before, and I will say it again, it is the old boss replaced by the new boss with the same ideas. Why? Because Democrats are all the same. They don't have anything new to offer because they are not allowed to change. For them, everything is cosmetic. It's new paint on an old building. Unfortunately, that's what Luke Bronin is. He's just new paint on an old building, an old idea. I'd love it if he had a new idea. I'd love it if he came up with something that made me go, hey, never heard that before. But we know he's not. And John Larson, I said what I said yesterday. I'll keep it at that. Have a nice day. It's the best way to look at it. You're in your 70s. It's all right. Just go on home. It's okay. You know, and the beauty part about it is, about this Luke Bronin thing, Larson, here's the beauty of this. The real beauty of this. Okay? According to this data point, this data that I just pulled up, it looks like everything that you believe in is in good hands. It's just the same old stuff. He's going to do the same thing that you planned on doing anyway. All right? So, yeah, just pass it on over. It doesn't look like anything's going to change. Let's go to Tony in Rocky Hill. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. I think the bottom line is, the two-party system sucks. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter who's in power. It's what they're allowed to do as members of it. Our judicial system is a joke. All these different layers of judicial appeals area, court. You can appeal a decision that was done over here, over there. It's just ridiculous. It's out of hand.
Tony, how many parties would you like to see in an election, if I may ask?
I'd like to see a nice revolt.
I'm sorry?
I like to see a healthy, nice revolt.
Yeah, I get that. But you said the two-party system.
Democrats. I want to get rid of Democrats and Republicans.
Okay, all right, fine. I get that. A lot of people feel that way. But my question to you is,
nothing but a private. It's a private country club for all of them. They're all getting rich, and they're laughing at you and I.
Again, totally get that. But I'm asking the question based upon what you said. You want to get rid of the two-party system. Just based on that, how many would you like to see? I'm always interested to find out what people would like to see in that regard.
I just want to get rid of them and just have new parties, new individuals, get rid of the judicial system and so forth.
Okay. So, in other words, you just want people to run without party affiliation, just on ideas. Like, you don't want some guy running as a Democrat or a Republican, an independent, Green Party. You just want people running without a party affiliation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I mean, right now it's a joke. And look, our radio waves are all sucked up with talk shows because of the two-party system. It sucks. It's unbelievable.
I don't know about all that. That sounds.
It does. It's changed the mentality and it's changed the personalities of people out there working or walking the streets.
So So what you're saying is that talk shows like mine and many others are actually changing.
Yeah, nothing personal.
Oh no, Tony, I'm not taking it.
I want to go back to what it was.
Tony, I'm not taking it personal. I'm interviewing you, so to speak.
Yeah, because I'm interviewing you too.
Yeah, but you're saying that
I want to go back to what it was, the normal time.
Okay, but if you don't mind if I sort of probe this point a little bit, you're saying that we have influence on people and sort of we've corrupted their mind because of shows like this.
No, I would not even go that far that you have influence at all by any means.
Okay. So I wasn't understanding. You said that it wouldn't be
No.
that the reason why we have this contention is because of shows like these. I got that impression. That's what you're saying.
I'm just saying it's unbelievable. You turn on the radio today. What is it sucked up with? It's all commercials or talk shows.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
But do you like them? I mean, it seems like you listen a little bit, Tony.
I listen to mainly 90% of the time. I listen to Joe D now and then that radio station he's on. There's no commercials. And
do you
only
listen to
news
me?
Once an hour.
But do you listen to me?
Very little. Then
what do you call here for? To just berate me?
I was getting bored.
Oh, you were bored and you weren't listening, so you figured you'd call me up, even though you don't even listen to the show.
And just get my aggravation out.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm glad to be your whipping boy for the day.
It's okay. It's a mild whipping, okay?
Yes, it is. It is mild. It is mild. I didn't
hang you by the whip.
Listen to me, Tony. I say it tongue in cheek. I really, really do respect it. Even though you don't listen, at least you call in. It makes me feel good. I appreciate your call nonetheless. No hard feelings.
Well, who else am I gonna criticize right now?
Hey, I guess it's me, buddy. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You got it. See, now that, do you understand that? And I'm not going to mention any names, folks, but did you see that? Do you hear that? That's what I'm talking about. All right? If you're going to, if it's really, really about what you think it's about, at least be a good call. Thank you. Sokolowski's right on point. He says, great call, Tony. And that was a fantastic call. It's not so much about agreeing. It's not even, and in fact, you can hate the medium. But that has substance, and I totally appreciate that. I think he used to do Shakespeare plays. Today, Tony, tomorrow, Paul. This guy's... Oh, is it the same guy? Is that who it is, Steve? Okay. Nonetheless, I don't mind. He's probably bored to tears. He needs this show. I'm good. I'm here for it. We got to we got to get some weather and traffic. We'll do that when we come back. Ladies' night. White Mike's on the line. He's got a grievance, I presume. Maybe Commentary will call up. He's always got a great grievance on Friday. We'll get to that. Let's get to weather with Jason Caterina and Tom O'Hanlon filling in for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Y'all know what time it is.
Yes, it's ladies' night, all night.
That's right. None other than Rozan on the radio is with us now. And I don't know why, but I sound like I have an echo going on over there. Can you talk into your mic real quick, sweetheart?
Is it on?
Oh, yeah, it's on.
Okay. You usually forget to turn it on.
I know you're fine now. You're going to be okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, so Rozan is here, and we're going to talk about Sydney Sweeney. We're going to talk about the boy finally reaching 18 years old. You did it. You kept him alive.
Yeah, now he's loose to the wolves.
Yeah, you kept him alive to the point where he's old enough to vote, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Are you excited for him to be a man in the least? A little bit?
I don't know.
Really?
I'm supposed to say yes because like that's the goal, right? Is it, like they move up, they grow up, they go to college, they move out, all that stuff. But he's the baby. He's the last one. He's.
You're not excited.
I'm devastated.
Devastated? Are you either devastated or fearful?
Like
you are the one who gave him all the skills to go out into the world.
I know. I trained him to do exactly what he's doing. He's leaving me, and that's the goal, right?
Like treat it like you've been working him and training him to be the CEO of his own company, and now he's in charge of his own company, and you're sending him out into the world as a subsidiary running his own business, and you should be confident that your tutelage led him down that path where he's going to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, I've done my job. I've successfully done my job, and I think that's the gut-wrenching part of being mom is if you've done your job successfully, they no longer need you. They no longer want you. Like, your opinion is so low on the value totem pole. You teach them to leave you. And there's supposed to be a tremendous amount of pride in that, but it's devastating. My heart is broken right now.
You're not sending him off to Mars, right? I mean,
may as well. At least Mars is safer.
What is it? If I may ask before we get back to weather and traffic real quick, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. But if you had to, you know what? In fact, don't answer it. But I want you to think about this because you said something about it at dinner a couple of weeks ago about your fears, because you talk a lot about how a lot of your reservations with all of this and growing up is rooted in fear.
Right.
And I want you to kind of gauge that. And I want to talk to some fathers, and if not some women, who had to send their children. There are a lot of women who listen to this who have much older children. And I kind of want to see if
when that goes away.
If that goes away, if they can identify with you. So, ladies, if you're out there, if you've experienced what Rozan is going through in any meaningful way, or even if you haven't, I kind of want to hear from you. Because I also want to talk about that movie that you saw called Otherhood. Talk a little bit about that. Because what you're talking about, I'm seeing more and more being discussed in a media sense, right?
Yeah,
Movies are coming out about it.
It's no longer kept, quiet. Like it was supposed to be just, like there's a lot of things that women experience as we get older that have just been ignored and hush-hush. And so now that we're starting to see those things come out a little bit more, it's liberating, it's encouraging, it's empowering to know that I'm not alone going through this. Or
I think it's just the phenomenon of everything being about emotions that have started this. That's kind of what I looked at. Anyway, let's take a break. Let's get to some weather and traffic. Jason Caterina's got weather. Tom O'Hanlon, your favorite.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon. Love it.
He's in the BPS Traffic Center filling in for Mark Christopher.
Hey, Tom.
We're back, Reese on the radio with Rozan on the radio, hanging out today. Let's find out what our good friend White Mike has as far as he might have a grievance today. How we doing, sir?
Hey, man. Hi to both of you. So you mentioned Sydney Sweeney,
yes.
And I find the topic rather interesting, not just for prurient interest, but because of what it says about society.
Okay.
The conservative right is leaping to this as their cause. And I think they're trying to make Sydney Sweeney some conservative, like, queen or whatever.
Yeah.
But people need to watch the show Euphoria and shut up with that noise.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right on that. anyone who's going that far, like that's far afoot from what Sydney Sweeney represents. Because, again, I think that people need to like her from afar, mock the people who are making fun of her from afar, but do not make her a deity of conservative ideals.
Just appreciate her for what she is. She's gorgeous. I mean, she's absolutely stunning. She's a phenomenal. Honestly, she catches the eye no matter where she's at, what she's doing. She's beautiful. So
that's it.
Just like her and love her for what she is.
But
yeah.
I'm with you on that, but there are other actresses of equal beauty and sex appeal who didn't stoop so low as to do what she did in Euphoria.
Yeah,
So,
I got you. Yeah, we cannot discuss.
I'm fine with it, but Sydney Sweeney on the whole pyramid, she's like toward the top,
right?
For what she, whereas you be pretty, you don't have to get cranked down by dudes in an HBO show where you're playing a teenager. By the way, a literal teenager.
Yeah,
this show is basically legalized theoretical child porn.
Yeah, I heard. And I haven't watched it. I know nothing about it other than the fact that I think it's what's her name? Zendaya is on that. Is
Zendaya.
That Zendaya?
I watched 2 seasons of it. And it
so
was
again, you're 100% right. But I agree with you in the sense of people tend to, because they're so busy mocking folks for losing their minds about the ad, that they're in essence sort of prompting Sweeney up on this pedestal of conservative righteousness that is not afforded her. And it shouldn't be. You're 100% right. I see people all the time online doing that, and I'm going, take a beat, man.
Well, I think White Mike's got a point, is if you look at society, like the what this is telling us about society, right? If it was a, voluptuous, black woman, it'd probably be, society would be praising, oh my God, she's so body positive. But because it's a white woman with a great figure, an actress, it's suddenly it's racist, and it just shows the diverse. Like, we have to pick a side, and it has to be labeled, and it has to be like very obvious, and there's no depth to anything, and that's how shallow our society is currently.
That's true.
Well, they're so short-sighted, they didn't think to research who owns American Eagle.
That's
and
right.
let's just say this dude can't eat bacon-wrapped shrimp. Okay?
Muslim?
No.
I'm kidding. It was a joke. It was a joke. I know.
100% right. And it's funny because another part of this is that American Eagle back in 2019 did the whole Lizzo-like campaign with a heavy-set, overweight black woman in the ads in 2019, and their stock, their stock plummeted. No one was buying the jeans. It was absolutely, it was like it was a dead on arrival.
American Eagle is like a couple of steps down from Abercrombie, right? Their demographic is their demographic.
Right.
You don't see a slew of really thin, rural girls, white girls, going into baby fat.
Yes.
Trying to buy, those luscious bottom jeans. That's not their demographic. So if you stick to your demographic, you'll be fine.
Yeah. What'd you say, Mike?
We have those kind of girls, the white girls who are going to buy a baby fat. We call them single mothers.
You're gone. You're out of here. You're a mess. Thank you, Mike, as always.
It's all women empowerment as long as we can agree with the woman.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely right. Well, by the way...
Thank you for recognizing that.
By the way...
I find that so fascinating.
By the way, American Eagle has released a Instagram post talking about the controversy.
And whoever posted that needs a raise.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Did you read it?
There's a few of yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this one's great. It says Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Is and always was about the jeans. Her jeans, her story. We'll continue to celebrate how everyone wears their American Eagle jeans with confidence their way. Great jeans look good on everyone. And they did not play on the words at all. It was brilliant. And that's the way that they should respond to it. I am so glad that Sydney Sweeney has stayed clear of it by even,
Yeah.
And
She's not getting political at all.
Exactly. And the ugly part about this, and shows you exactly how dumb this is that these rabble-rousers, if you will, would sooner boycott the company and the ad that has millions of dollars that are supposed to go to help abused women.
Let's be honest. The people boycotting American Eagle jeans can't afford American Eagle jeans anyway. So
this is true. They don't have the disposable income to buy them.
They're shopping at, Ross Shop for Less. They're shopping at...
They're the same ones that tried to cancel Eminem. How'd that work out?
How do you cancel Eminem?
Yeah, well, they tried. Carmela says that there was a pregnant man ad for American Eagle as well. Yeah, they've done it all. They've done it all. This is not, this isn't isolated. Like, American Eagle has gone all over the spectrum. But again, as you pointed out, which is a very, very good point, American Eagle, you said, is a step below Abercrombie & Fitch, which, again, has a particular niche. It is popular within a niche.
Skinny white girls.
Exactly. And also skinny white boys. Right. So, but it has a niche, and it's been popular and very successful. They've had their ups and downs, but that's who they cater to. The audience that is criticizing American Eagle is an audience that would never purchase that. So they wouldn't even know, as Carmelo points out, that they did an ad with a pregnant man. That would be...
I had no idea.
Exactly. No one would know because you're not their demographic. Right. It was sort of like when I found out about Subaru catering to lesbian culture. Like, I knew nothing about it. Why? Because I'm not a Subaru guy.
You're not a lesbian.
I'm also not a lesbian. But when I found out, I was so fascinated by it. I've never been more fascinated about
Right, now every time we see a Subaru...
We can't stop talking about it.
It's like Modern Family when Mitch and Cam. Lesbians. Every time we see a Subaru.
But it's great because you understand your culture or subcultures in a way that you never did before. And it made Subaru, for me, I didn't balk at it. I didn't look at Subaru and go...
You respect it because you know how to aim your advertising at the right people.
And
you're not shoving it down everybody's throat.
And what I loved about it was when I read the history of what Subaru was doing to get it was their whole history turned out that their marketing campaign towards lesbians was subtle. And, it was in license plates.
A bumper sticker.
Yeah, bumper sticker or a license plate.
Or the
in
shoes
their print,
that they were wearing.
Yeah, in a print ad showing the car at a particular place in California that was known. Frequented by this particular group. And it was this subtlety in the print ads that I was going, oh, dude, and maybe it was my curiosity and my thirst for knowledge, knowing that was going, damn, like it's an interesting job, by the way. That marketing stuff, that's such a great job. Yeah. I would love to do that if I, ever had the time. If I had a dream job, that's probably something I would do. Coming up with new, marketing ideas, that seems like great. Like, what an opportunity.
You're definitely a creative artist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, that kind of deal. So I love the people who do that. That's what made that fascinating. And in this case, I'm learning more about American Eagle every day through this controversy. Because every time I see a new ad, as Carmela just pointed out about the pregnant man, now I'm opposed to it. No, don't get me wrong. I'm opposed to this as an idea, but it's fascinating to know that the criticism is so half-assed. It's like they haven't even done their research.
It's selective.
Yeah, and it is selective.
Yeah.
Unlike Budweiser, let me read. I'm sorry. Boris is going in here, so he's got several statements in here. He says, this sounds like a well-thought-out marketing plan right from the beginning. Do something controversial, but knowing that it will ruffle some feathers in a big comeback. That's right. Subaru did not go mainstream. That's right. They didn't go mainstream. In fact, they kept their marketing very limited. They did not want to grow their brand.
Well, they're not trying to.
They didn't want to be the big three.
What country is Subaru out of? Is that Korea? Is that a Korean brand?
I don't know, but you have to look them up.
It doesn't sound Japanese. Regardless, it obviously comes from a very conservative culture.
It would be Japan.
It is Japan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All
conservative
right.
culture. You know what I mean? They're not an obnoxious, in-your-face people. You do have the little subgenres of the little, J-pop girls, but for the most part, these are very subtle people. There's a tremendous amount of overt politeness. Like, they argue in the most polite way. It's terrifying. But that's who they are.
You know what we should do? We should find out if the Mazda Miata was designed
That's the
for
happiest looking car ever.
Yeah, but every time I think about the Mazda
That guy's commercials.
the Isuzu commercials are great. I had
That's what you
Rozan
made
look
me
at them.
think about,
No,
was
but
Isuzu.
I was thinking about the Miatas because every time I look at a Miata, and
It's
even
smiling.
No, yes, it does look like it's smiling. But every time I think of a Miata, I always think that it was made specifically for Italians, because I think that they. Yeah,
So it's like a poor man's like Volkswagen was the poor man's Porsche.
Yeah, so poor man's
Mazda Miata
Porsche.
is the poor man's Alfa Romeo.
Yes,
You know what? Because in my head, I am now seeing a convertible Miata all over the streets in Italy in every rom-com I've ever seen.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how the Mazda folks came up with the name Miata. It's like they visited like Italy or maybe Little Italy, and they heard an Italian go, Miata slap you. I just thought that was funny.
I love you. I really do.
Come on, Miata, that doesn't sound like something an Italian would say.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying.
I see it cruising around the streets of Milan in my Miata.
Miata. Hey, I don't know. Miata just sounds like that.
It's like every guy drives a Dodge Ram, you know?
I don't-
Stereotypical.
I know so many people who drive a Dodge Ram, and I'm still trying to understand the war between Chevy and Ford. I'm still not.
That's you'll never understand that.
Never?
Star Wars versus Star Trek, and
Is that what it is? Is
That's
it
pure
that?
Americana.
Yes.
Is it really? Okay.
I had the Dodge Ram. Traded in for a Chevy. Would I trade in for a Ford if I like the truck? I don't care. I like the truck for what the truck does. I drive a Chevy and a Volkswagen. I'm the most un-American American there is.
I don't know anybody who can explain to me what the beef is, but I got to be honest with you. I've never really understood like why the Ford is so put upon by Chevy folks
Because Ford breaks down really
Found on
easily.
road dead.
Found on road dead. Yeah, I remember that.
Fords are not great. My big giant Expedition had that thing for years, drove the wheels off it, and I was great. I love it. To this day, if I could find another one, I would drive it. But all of a sudden, just some rattling inside. Apparently, some bolts came loose inside of some important moving part. I don't mechanic. I'm not that kind of Mexican.
It was rattling.
It was really loud. It was frightening. And as it turned out, it was going to cost more to disassemble the vehicle, to put these things back where they belong, and put it all back together than the vehicle was even worth. So I had to get rid of it.
I feel it goes back to in my mind, I can think Ford was the big corporation. Ford was the auto manufacturer.
That's right.
And then Chevy came along and was like, fight the man, buy a Chevy. We're the small startup in your garage company. Then Chrysler kicked all their butts and literally started in a garage.
That's okay. So everybody's coming in with their own acronyms for Ford. Let me read a few. Let me read it for you because they're great. Susan says Ford stands for fix or repair daily. Michael B says the same, fix or repair daily. Stevie V says Ford eats Chevy's dust. Ooh, that one's a nice comeback. And Michael A says fails on rainy days. That's messed up. That's just awful.
Listen, as long as it's a pickup truck and it is not a Dodge, so you can get a Ford, a Chevy, or a GMC. Do not buy a Dodge or a Toyota. Like who?
What are you talking about? All of these cars are great.
No.
You can buy a Dodge if you're willing the wheel wells to rust out in 3 years.
No, Dodges
will rust as you're driving them. And I had one.
A Dodge is a pickup truck that a New Yorker buys when they move to Texas thinking they're doing something.
And they got to tow their horses somehow.
So you have to get a GMC, a Ford 250, or a Silverado. But here in Texas, if you're gonna have a truck, you got to have the right truck. You can't come around here with a Toyota Tundra. Like what? What are
Actually,
you?
Michael B had another one. He says for only R-word drivers.
Republican? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It's the Republican. It's the other R word. I'm joking.
Oh, you're going to rattle a lot of feathers there, young lady. That one's going to start. Sokolowski said, I still have my 1998 Dodge Dakota. No problems, just regular maintenance for me. Almost 200,000 miles, which is what a truck's supposed to do.
Now, how much rust are on those fenders?
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's be honest. Do you have fenders anymore?
I used to be in love. Growing up, the Dodge Dakota, if that car came into our neighborhood, every kid loved it. I don't know why. It's just a weird-looking car, but we loved it.
My grandfather had a school bus yellow 54 GMC.
Yep, I have a picture of it.
It's still parked out there. It actually belonged to my dad.
Was it stepside?
Yep.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
It was
Dream truck.
gorgeous. It is the most beautiful thing. And ever since I was a kid, I've always, because of that truck, like we grew up sitting in the back of that truck, flying down the highway here in San Antonio. You've seen the highways around here. The speed limit's 70, right?
Yeah.
All of us grandkids piled in the back of it, flying down the highway. And I've always loved GMCs, always, because of that truck.
Tell everybody what your favorite car is. That's actually a very...
A 1987 Monte Carlo SS with T-tops.
It's got to be black.
Say that again, please.
A 1987 Monte Carlo SS with T-tops.
What color?
It's got to be the cream color with the burgundy pinstripe and the burgundy, crushed velvet. I'm using the loose term velvet interior.
We saw one.
Very Mexican of me.
We saw one in Virginia, and she almost melted.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I'd realized that she liked cars. I was like, what? Get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we got to take a break. Look at this. All right, let's get back to some weather, traffic, and, of course, the news with John Silva. Jason Caterina's got weather, and Tom O'Hanlon is in for Mark Christopher at BPS
I
Traffic
wanted to
Center.
introduce Tom O'Hanlon.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I'm Tom O'Hanlon doing the...
Traffic.
There we go.
I'm Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I got to make sure I remember that I have to get a between rounds winner coming up in the next half hour.
Win?
I apologize. What's that?
Can I win?
No, you cannot win. Of course you can't win. You could go get a bagel at between rounds, just like anybody else can,
so
but you
mean to
can't
me.
win. I'm not mean to you. You just can't win. Just can't win a bagel. So
Get the woman her Monte Carlo and a bagel.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Apparently.
Am I asking for too much?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Are you asking for too much? Are you kidding me?
It's just what I want today.
Yeah, exactly.
For this hour.
By the way,
you can go with the Temu version and get her an Impala as a Grand National.
Yeah, Grand National. Yeah, there you go. Boston Julie says about the Monte Carlo. She says, sorry, Rozan. The last bad date I had before I met my husband was a guy in East Boston. I can't use the slur that she used. I'm sorry. She used an Italian slur. I cannot use Julie. Sorry. She says, the last bad date I had before I met my husband was a guy in East Boston. He took me out to eat in that car. Wore his white wife beater with gold change. Total stereotype. He even had the Monty SS sticker on the back window. So, she's really equating it. But now it's funny that, Rozan.
I see it.
I know
in my
you
head.
saw it. You know
I
why?
see it.
We watched that vintage video
That
from the guys
who
in
looked
Brooklyn.
40 and he was still in high school.
He was in high
Oh my
school
gosh.
driving that exact car.
Wearing a wife beater.
Actually, no, they had no shirts on.
Oh, that's right. It was 3 of them, right?
Yeah, in the summer. Anyway, we got to get back to weather and
Okay.
traffic with Jason Caterina. And go ahead.
And Tom O'Hanlon.
He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Rama says it wasn't a Monte Carlo, it was an IROC Z.
Ooh.
I remember the IROC.
I almost bought one of those.
Did you really?
Yeah. Okay, everyone can slap me for this one. My wife does all the time.
Okay.
When we were looking for cars when I was younger, it was either that or the Volkswagen Beetle I have now.
Wow. Okay, you still have the Beetle. What year?
Still have it, 1974.
Sorry, you're asking about how did you go from an IROC to a Volkswagen Beetle? That's
both of those are iconic in different ways.
I
Went with the
get it.
iconicness.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
I'll
hey.
still pass an IROC Z right now if I ran up against it.
Yeah. The Volkswagen
Yep.
thing, that one's what color, if I may ask?
Ironically, it's a Dodge blue. It's a
Okay.
nice bright blue.
A bright blue. Okay.
Yep.
All right, that makes sense. That's a convenient color. That's not
Built
even
that car in 1997. Still
not
have
bad.
it.
Let's get to some phones because a bunch of people are on the lines. Let's go. Rob is in New Britain. How are you, sir?
Hello.
What's going on?
Let me tell you this. There are people ragging on the Ford trucks here. I grew up, all right, stated clearly, my dad had bought he had a Ford Galaxy 68 convertible, but he went out to a farm. I went with him,
My mom dropped us off, and we picked up a 1948 Ford, and that thing ran like a bear. Then later in life, I would own a 79, then a 78, never died. And I watched an infomercial on Fords, and they had all Ford. They had Dodge, Chevy, Jeep, Ford, and they were showing how Ford totally boxes their frames. And on the 250s, the hooks that you'll find under the bumper, they're beefier than all other trucks.
So I can assume that you're a Ford guy then.
Oh yeah, when it comes to trucks, I love all cars though. My dream car is hard to say because I love them all, but
Okay.
I would have to say a 1967 Ford Pantera.
Okay, all right, that's that. I've heard that one before.
Oh yeah, engine in the trunk, designed by Ferrari and Ford, and transmission went right to the rear end, just like in Formula One.
That's right.
Beautiful.
Not a bad car.
And earlier, as far as what you were talking about earlier, my mother in 1978 started working for Tilcon Tommaso for 7 years on a paving crew. And my mother earned my respect, and then would go on to become an operating engineer, and then go on to work for the state for the Permanent Commission on the Status of Women in Non-Traditional Trades. She made me very proud. And when I used to make her angry in those days when she was a construction worker, she would say, "Keep it up, Robert, and I'll name a street after you."
I like that. Nice job. Thanks, Rob.
We love you, Reese.
You got it, boss man. Let's go to John in Meriden. How are you, John?
Come on, Jay.
Oh, give me a break. I know exactly what that was. Steve's in Waterbury. What's up, Stevie B?
Well, a few things. Back when I was growing up, you had a Chevy truck. Not a Chevy truck. You had a Pepsi truck racing a Coca-Cola truck.
Right.
And was this a commercial? You remember that commercial?
I do.
Okay. Anyways, well, I wanted to say that if you're going to buy a car, you want to research it. I recently bought a 2001 Mercury Crown Vic because of the motor. It's supposed to be up to like a 500,000-mile motor. The Jeep has a V6 that has a great motor. Chevy has the old 350 Chevy Black, which is very strong. Toyotas, Lexuses, a lot of good cars, but a lot of them also have problems. You want to look at each individual vehicle.
But why a Crown Vic? I don't listen. Now, I lived in the D.C. area. Roseanne and I met in the D.C. metropolitan area, and there were these sort of car clubs. I've seen them all over the country, but in the D.C. metro area, the Crown Victoria was the car. Everyone had them sort of geared up. You know, not to look like they didn't look like the Chevy Impalas. They didn't look like the 6.4s. Nothing like that. They had the big rims on them. Some of them did. Some had moderate rims on them. But they were all gussied up. Those cars always look like police cars to me. They always look like unmarked.
That's why.
Right. But you also got to keep in mind, why did the police cars use the I didn't say Crown Vic. I meant Mercury Grand Marquis.
Yeah, that's practically the same thing.
Car.
Practically the same thing.
Car. Right. But you look at all the taxi cabs, you look at all the police cars, it was because of liability, they're being good, reliable cars.
Yeah, engine-wise, that was what
I
I learned because it's funny. I worked my first big job in Manhattan. I worked for a company. I always talk about them, Tel Aviv Car and Limo. I think they're still there. I'm almost certain.
Fernando?
Yeah, that's where Fernando worked. And, they had a classic, the all sevens telephone number, which I think they still exist. Anyway.
777 all the way across.
Yeah,
right?
all the way across. So in order to work there, most folks drove a Lincoln Continental. You had to. If you drove, you didn't have to all be black cars. You could have a blue one, you could have a tan one, blah, 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 but you all had to have Lincoln Continentals. If you drove a Crown Victoria or a Mercury, you had to make it clear to the customer that you were sending that vehicle. You could not send a Crown Vic or a Mercury to a customer without telling them it wasn't a Lincoln Town Car, because people were very particular about that.
Gotcha. Two more things. I used to visit the Ford plant up in Canada. There's a couple I had to go to. And believe it or not everybody there even drove for it. You had a separate parking lot. If you had a foreign car, you had to park in a separate lot.
Wow.
Now that
these
makes
are all union workers.
That makes sense,
Yep.
yeah, because those union workers are really particular. Don't drive up in somebody else's car. They had a sense of pride about the work they did, and I knew
Right.
that much. I knew growing up.
Well, and one more thing. I think a lot of those Chevy, Ford, and Mopar, a lot of that came from all the racing young kids when there was like muscle cars and stuff like that from back in the day when, kids were getting into cars. I think that's where big competition started coming up.
I got to tell you though, but see, I wasn't much of in my growing up in my years. I wasn't much of a gearhead, probably because I walked everywhere and I took the bus. So I really, I don't even. I'll tell you like this, Steve. This will probably blow your mind. Not. Whenever anything goes wrong with my car, I send it to a mechanic. People say, "No, you just change the oil yourself," and I look at them like they have three heads. They're like, me get under the car and change the oil?
Well,
I doubt that.
You know that I was raised, every single man in my family, my family of origin, every single man and a few females know how to work on cars.
Yes.
And so it was interesting to me the first time a car broke down and my first husband had no idea how to fix a car. I was like, but men fix cars.
What's your ethnicity again? I didn't remember.
Soy pura chicana.
Was that your what?
Pura chicana.
Mexican.
Yeah.
Mexican. Oh, okay.
Sounds so nice.
Thank you, Stevie.
One more thing.
Go
real
real quick.
Mention, if I could. I remember when the IROCs and disease came out there, and after the gas shortage, they started beefing them back up. I seen so many of them off into the woods. People didn't know how to drive them no more.
Wow.
Yeah, I could totally understand that because I'll be honest with you, I don't like them. It's just too much for me. Thank you, Stevie. I appreciate you. I'm a simple guy when it comes to a car. Just give me four wheels.
You're simple with a lot of things.
Yeah.
So Rozan, I got this would be a good one for you then.
Go ahead.
Reese, you can chime in. We'll kick you out of the chair for this one. So I'm assuming you've been to a few car shows back in the day.
Kind of.
Car clubs, car gatherings, street events.
So
shall we say?
Here in San Antonio, Military Drive was the cruising. That's where you cruise. So all of the parking lots, it's a bunch of storefronts and shopping centers. Cars would be parked in every single parking lot.
It's like military Crenshaw?
I'm guessing South Central LA type deal.
Yeah.
So that was a normal occurrence. And, it wasn't about drag racing.
You just go cruising.
You just cruise.
And now here's the thing. Take that to today's generation.
Okay.
Can you see a bunch of these kids, like they do street takeovers? We'll take that out of the equation.
Right.
But lining up on the side of the street with your Honda Civic.
little CRVs.
And you're like what has car culture become?
Yeah.
Like ever since the 7th Fast and Furious movie, it's gone off the rails.
And they all sound like riding mowers.
Yes.
All of them.
Like stop revving your weed whacker and get out of my way.
Thank you. Oh my God.
I was at a gas station. In Manassas, Virginia, and the kid was sitting next to me with one of those cars that clearly looked like it was right out of the Fast and Furious movies. And I looked him right in the face when he was getting gas, and I said to him, which, by the way, got the ugliest look from my employees. I looked at him and I said, "Hey, you ever get furious when you can't go fast?" Everybody looked at me and just went, "Get in the car. Just get in the car."
What are car shows and car club and cruise nights going to look like in 10 years? Someone pulls up in their Tesla, starts playing Fortnite in the trunk. Like, come on.
I don't know. Like I said, I never understood that culture.
They're not all Priuses.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think the cars are pretty. I think that I've been to antique car shows and things like that. I get it. But after 15 minutes, when I've seen the cars, and these guys will sit up there and just talk about, "Hey, so what you got there in the trunk? You got a 4?
A 4 still do it.
48943 or something engine."
Every Father's Day, the Volkswagen car show up here. We pulled. I think this year was just under 300 cars, all Volkswagens.
I can't do it. I don't know why.
Everything from the 50s to 2025s.
That's a big deal everywhere. I know Connecticut is crawling with those things every week, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. There's always a show going on somewhere up here.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe somebody should tell me a little bit about them. I don't know.
We'll drag you to one.
Yeah, of course you will. I know you will. Okay, so when we come back, Rozan, we're going to end the show, of course. We're going to talk about this thing with the boy growing up and moving on. I got to hear from you just about this phenomenon that I'm not understanding.
Because you're a man.
No, yes, it is because I'm a man. Yes, that's one. But
studies show that a woman carries her children's DNA in her body for the rest of her life. Literally. Like if you took my blood and searched my DNA, you would see little pieces of each of my children in my DNA.
I would imagine you carried them.
So it's like ripping out a piece of me. I know, you'll never understand.
You don't think that it's a little dramatic?
No. Do you know what the difference is between what moms do and what dads do?
Yes, I clearly do.
Dad showed up and said, "Thanks, Mom," and that was the end. And then I got left with 9 months times 3 of the residue of thanks, honey.
Look, I'm
just saying.
I'd love to have like some fathers of daughters call in.
Yeah, well, see, that's again
because I have 3 sons. Like, I feel it'd be different if it was a daughter versus one of my 3 sons.
Exactly.
It's a TV show.
Yeah, right. But wait a minute. See, that's the point I'm bringing up here, Joey. Is that, and we had this discussion last week.
Right,
that
the girls.
Fathers treat their daughters completely different than they treat their boys, and it's because, one, you want the daughter to always feel as though she's the most important person in the world, because when she's going out there and she's ever finding a mate.
What about the wife?
Hold on. And finding out that that when she meets someone, that she is expected the same thing from the guy that she received as a child growing up. She will take no shorts when it comes to finding a mate. And that's the way. And fathers are very delicate. It's not like you're going to have your daughter out in the backyard doing push-ups or doing yard work or taking out the garbage. You just don't. Is it a double standard? Don't care, but it is. But boys, it's different. And when they leave, what happens is when the children go, fathers deal with their daughters leaving differently than moms deal with their sons leaving. Now, hear me out. Daughters, when they leave their mothers, they don't go far. But they don't go far. That relationship is like mothers know that when their daughters leave, their daughters are only a phone call away, and they're going to call them about anything and everything under the sun.
Sure.
Right?
I had a very different experience.
Mothers have a different experience with their sons because they know that the boys are grown up to be independent and self-sufficient.
I don't think it's
and they don't call back as often.
That does stink, but I know for me, right? I don't know about all moms. I know for me, I had the boy to myself for a very long time. Now, you understand what happened with my 2 oldest children.
Yeah.
So I gave the boy everything that I was incapable of giving to them. So I feel like my bond with him is it's a sort of a trauma bond.
Sure.
Combined with actually loving who this little person is. I mean, watching him evolve, watching him grow into, first this sweet, snuggly little baby that I nursed to,
a boy taller than you.
Now he's, and then he goes into kindergarten, and I'm watching, his first day at kindergarten, the bus driver, the school put him on the wrong bus
I only have like a half an hour left on the show. You're not going to go through his entire
I will
childhood.
fight you. They put him on the wrong bus home, and I was terrified. I couldn't find my baby for hours on his first day of school, ever.
And that traumatized you for the rest of your life?
I was a mess. And, he's reading all of a sudden and riding a bike, and now he's having sleepovers and middle school, and then all of a sudden he stays in his room and he barely wants to talk to me. So there's like this slow, steady evolution of watching him pull away and occasionally just kind of looking back and like reaching out a hand. And
okay, stay right there. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We got to do weather, traffic, and news. Hopefully it's a lot more traumatic than this story. Let's go to John Silva with news, Jason Caterino with weather, and Tom O'Hanlon's filling in for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. All right, we got that contest now.
Bagel Deli and Bakery. Between rounds.
And a hearty congratulations goes to Francine F. of Rocky Hill. She is our latest contestant to win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. If you would like an opportunity to win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, you got to go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com, like my Substack. Send me a nice note. So that you can get a chance to win. Just fill out the form. Make sure you put in your telephone number and, of course, your date of birth. Please make sure that information is in there. You must live in the state of Connecticut, and you cannot have won within the last 6 months of this date. Again, that is the only way you can participate. Please, other rules apply, like if you are my wife and you happen to be named Rozan, that spells it with a R-O-Z-A-N, and you share my last name. And if you've lived with the host for more than 15 minutes, you cannot participate. Oh, man.
This is very biased and slanted.
I'm sorry, Roseanne. It appears you do not qualify. Outside of the fact that, you have to live in the state of Connecticut, which you will be doing soon. And,
I'll just give Joe a call, see if I can get some bagels.
I'm pretty sure that he'll just give you bagels.
Okay, well, then fine.
It
I'll
is
get a
Jerry,
bagel.
by the way.
Jerry. God,
Yeah.
I wish I could say Joe.
It's
Because
okay.
Joey's on the brain.
Because Joey's on the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to
we can go to bagels and get bagels if you want. I'm down.
Let's do it.
All right.
We'll take
Should we
out
invite the spouses? I'm just curious.
yes, of course.
Oh, fine.
What are you talking about?
Fine. I guess if y'all want to come.
Goodness
Make
gracious.
it awkward.
Yeah,
Jeez.
thanks.
Well,
Yeah,
Going
indeed.
to have some bagels with my friend here.
Y'all are definitely a mess. When we get back, we'll get into more of this sob stuff. Now look, I'm not trying to be mean-spirited when I'm being
You just do it naturally.
I'm not being mean-spirited when I'm being dismissive of the whole bond with the boy. I know I don't understand. I'm not a mother, never have been a mother, couldn't possibly understand. I just grew up in an era where the guilt about boys not calling their mother happens years after they've left. I've never witnessed that. Like, I've seen the moms cry when they're getting older and they move on.
Man, my kids live with me and they still don't call me back.
Yeah, exactly. But I've never had this thing where it's turned into movies and television shows for women to understand and cope with. It's not. They don't make this stuff for guys, probably because they wouldn't watch it.
Because nobody cared before. Nobody paid any attention before. And now we're tired of hiding all the menopause crap, the empty nest crap, the divorced when we're older crap, the financial struggles, the learning how obsolete we become to the opposite, or to the world in general once we reach a certain age. There's so much that you guys have just ignored, and we're sick of being ignored.
Wait a minute, hold on. First of all, this trend of women as they get older becoming obsolete.
It's not a trend. It's always
really. Why are they call them cougars and jaguars and all that other stuff?
What is the prime age for a woman in Hollywood?
Oh, come! I don't want to.
No. Answer the question.
30.
30. After 30, what roles does she get?
Moms.
And after 40?
Grandmothers.
Exactly. 40 years old, a grandmother. Do I look like a grandmother to you? I'm almost 50. Do I look like a grandmother to you? So we have been relegated to the
Save me by the traffic, Reese.
Thanks, man. You damn sure did. Internet is an evil place. I'll tell
I got to get our voice guy to do a Roseanne on the radio one, too.
Really? Okay, good. We'll do that. That sounds great. Actually, she would love that. She's already smitten right now. Like, really? Yeah. So
Ooh, I get a voice by Tom O'Hanlon.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That would be so awesome.
Can you contain your voice crush on Tom O'Hanlon?
Absolutely not.
It is like the craziest thing in the world. She is absolutely. She heard, Roland had Tom O'Hanlon. Well, I asked Tom O'Hanlon to do a Reese on the radio.
Oh my God, I geeked so hard.
And she geeked at the end of the show. She couldn't believe it. She was like, "Oh my God!" She was so excited that he did it.
I just want to say real quick, the boys listening. So happy birthday, kid.
Yes, happy birthday, Ellis. And, I don't know what to tell you other than the fact that when you turn 18 years old, apparently in today's age, different than it was when I was a kid, Ellis, moms cry. And they cry in a way that makes it horrible for dads to be able to communicate with them and live a normal life. They spend the rest of your 18th year on this planet having to wipe away the tears of your mother. And I just want to let you know from the bottom of my heart, I hate your birthday. And
this must be so hard for you, Reese.
I hope
My
it
goodness.
sucks. No, I'm kidding. He knows. I love the boy.
No, I'm saying my struggle must be so hard for you.
Well, it's
having
not.
to
It isn't
put
hard
up with
for me,
it.
but you know how I am about crying.
Yes.
It's like a difficult thing to operate for me. It's like,
If you could put me in the closet till I was through,
yes,
you'd let me
and
out.
I told you, I told this story before, that the last time an employee of mine.
I'm not an employee, by the
No,
way.
I know, but
Just
she was a
saying.
young lady. She cried in the office. She got some very, very bad news. And she saw me as a father. In fact, at the office, all of these girls that I hired, they were all from El Salvador. And they were all American, but their parents were from El Salvador. And I hired them because we didn't have enough Spanish speakers. And they all kept, multiplying in my office. They literally, they were like, my cousin wants to work. My sister wants to work. And they were all family working in the office. And so I had this entire family of girls there, and I was kind of like their office dad. And so one of them started to cry about something that, it wasn't a domestic thing when someone had passed away. And she walked up to me, and she would hug me while she was crying, and I'm being doused. My dress shirt is just soaking wet with all of these tears.
I can just see you now with your hands
And,
up.
and they
oh,
were, because
it's happening.
I felt like I was being like wrapped around with
It's leaking and it's making noise. Get it off me.
Just patting him on the head.
That's
it's
exactly
okay.
what I did. That's exactly what I did. I patted her on her head because I
Very
felt like I
Sheldon
was.
Cooper of you.
I felt like I was being wrapped by a boa constrictor, and I just tapped her on the head and I went, "There, there." And I was scared because I didn't realize, I didn't want to say the wrong thing that would make her cry more, because I already felt she was broken. What could I do here? I know I couldn't salvage it.
There's got to be a movie that you will watch and tear up for. You need to just have him lock him in a room, Rozan, and have him watch that movie over and over until he comes out.
I will tell you,
miserable and having feelings.
There is one movie that did make me cry, really. I broke
Rudy
down. No.
Okay.
No. And it's a line in there, but I was young when it happened, and I totally got it because the line was so profound, and I kind of identified with the point. Anyway, the movie's called Sling Blade. Everybody is now going. Now everybody is completely off the rails because I mentioned it. It wasn't Billy Bob Thornton's it was his character who said the line. Can I tell you? Can I set it up? Okay, it did make me cry. It was the scene where Billy Bob Thornton's Sling Blade goes to see John Ritter near the end of the movie, and he tells John Ritter to please take care of the boy and his mother, because of course he's about to go do the unthinkable, right? With played by, who was the bad guy who's played? Who's the
I saw that movie
Dwight Yoakam.
20 years ago.
Dwight
I have
Yoakam
no
plays the bad guy. And in that scene, the scene that's about to come up. But anyway, talking to John Ritter in that film, Sling Blade says probably the most profound line of the film, which shows exactly who he was, and it gave him not only a heart but a soul. But he says, that boy's got a big heart, and that's an awful lonely place for a person to live.
Aww.
And it broke me. Because of his relation. That whole movie you watch, I'm even welling up now.
I know.
That was a huge part of that scene. The way he described his relationship with that young man was because Sling Blade realized that out of everybody in the world who treated him like dirt, that boy treated him with respect, like he treated everybody with respect. He saw something very, very divine in him.
It was pure
beautiful.
innocence.
It was pure innocence. And the way he said that, I couldn't take it anymore. I blurted out crying. It was so rough for me.
I can really appreciate that line because as however everybody else sees the boy, that's how I see the boy. He's got a very big heart, and it is a very lonely place to be. He is learning how to build walls around his heart, and that makes me very sad because
he has to protect himself.
He does.
Yeah.
And, that was my job. That was my job as mom to protect him so that he could be free to, have his feelings and experience the world, as much as he could, as innocently as possible. And
I'm going to need you to watch like a comedy for about a half an hour before we take this 2-hour drive. Because if you cry for 2 hours, I'm not going to be able to deal. Okay? Let's get to the phones before we get up out of here this weekend. Let's go to Lori, who's been on hold in Glastonbury. How are you, Lori?
Hi. Boy, okay, I have a lot of catching up to do.
Okay.
So did you guys talk about the IROC V's in the 80s and how all the Guidos, all the Italian boys with the gold chains wearing those?
No, Lori, we were just mentioning specific cars that many people have driven in or we've been around. In fact, Boston Julie was talking about a guy who was in a Monte Carlo she went out on a date with, who wore a wife beater.
Almost exactly what you described.
Yes,
that guy.
pretty much what you
She went
described.
out with that guy.
That's all. Lori, do you have grandchildren?
No, and I wasn't able to have kids, but I do want to, because I had a run-in with ovarian cancer in my 30s. So,
wow.
You learn something new about me just about every time I call.
I know.
So it's interesting, the whole relationship between the mothers and the daughters and the fathers and the daughters.
Uh-huh.
So I was adopted and I was raised by Sicilians. And I myself, I came to find out that I'm also Italian, but my mother had the expectation that I would stay close and, be with the family. And my dad was like, no, go do whatever you want. So I lived in Japan for 2 years, and then I came back and I traveled around America for 2 years, working for a different company. And my dad was just like, yeah, go live your life. And my mother was like, oh, my gosh, call me from every place you're going to be stopping.
Exactly.
I just need to know where you're going to be. And I was like 35 at the time. Yeah. I'm like, mother.
I just need to know you didn't wake up dead today.
Yeah, but see, hold on. Now, you lived in an Italian household where your father says, go be. Now, look, I was like that with Ayla. I wanted her to because after September 11th, she was a homebody. All I wanted to do was to get her to go to the corner store. By the time she was a teenager, she was in Japan. She was in Australia. She was teaching English as a second language all the way on the other side of the earth. And I told her at her bat mitzvah, they were telling me I had to give a speech at her bat mitzvah. And I was telling her, the cantor, he's like, well, what would you like to talk about? And I said, one of the things that I noticed about her from the time when she was very, very young, about 9 years old, until the time of her bat mitzvah was, this was a girl who she had to call me from the bus stop to her destination. Now she's traveling all across the globe. And it shows that she had, blossomed into this, woman, so to speak. And he said, that's it. Just say that right there. Fathers are like that with their children.
Wait, but again, I want that for the boy. Like, he decided to take a year off of college, and I was like, no, you need to go, like, get the heck up out of this neighborhood, go experience the world, right? I'm the one that wants him to go out and experience the world. I need that for him.
In a controlled space, though.
No, not at all. I need him to do it. My feelings are my problem. They're not his.
Mm-hmm.
My sadness, my broken heart, my withering uterus is my problem. It's not his.
Okay, hey, Roseanne?
Yes.
Roseanne?
Yeah.
If I give you my mother's phone number, can you give her a call and let her know that at 56, I'm grown and everything's going to be okay?
You're still
and
her
she
baby.
Can just let me go?
No, that boy, when I look at my son at 18 years old, 6 foot tall.
You still see the infant.
I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Oh, please don't.
I still see the little baby that I nursed.
Well, and here's an interesting twist, though, because I was adopted. So I was like, the promised child because...
You got picked. You weren't an accident. You were hand-chosen. That puts a different value on you.
Yeah.
So you will forever be the little baby that she brought home.
Go ahead. Sorry, Lori.
Yeah. So with that said, I covet your prayers for the remainder of my life because of being like that child that, it's like, it's very sweet, but at the same time, I'm 56, and it's like, Mom, please don't lick your thumb and get the schmegma off of my face. Just leave me alone.
Thanks, Lori. You have a wonderful weekend.
You're welcome.
Got it. Let's go to Michael. Hello, Michael.
How you doing, Reese?
What's up, buddy?
Oh, man, the Ford bashing struck a nerve in me.
I'm sorry, buddy. I felt uncomfortable doing it because I don't have a dog in this race, but I can understand people who do.
I have a 2013 Ford Taurus that I bought brand new in May of 2012.
That's what Allie
and
used to
it
drive.
has over 424,000 miles on it.
Wow.
But that's, you know what? That's good maintenance, and you probably drive in a place that doesn't have a crap load of potholes like New York does.
Yeah, well, I actually did crack a rim once. I used to do field service, so I was driving all over New England and upstate New York.
How do you do 400,000? How do you do 400,000 miles, man? That's incredible.
424.
That's crazy. That's almost 2 times around the earth.
I know. And I didn't get to see any place cool. Upstate New York isn't that interesting.
Yeah, I hear that. Oh man, thank you. I feel bad for you, but congratulations on the long-lasting Ford Taurus. Thank you, buddy. Last but not least, Craig in the car. What's going on, sir?
Man, I need to talk to Lori more. A couple of adopted Italians. I turn 56 tomorrow.
Okay, congrats.
Happy birthday.
So we got that going for us. So, hey, is Joey there? How are you, Rozan?
I'm doing well, thank you.
We're all here.
That's good. All right, Joey.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you the difference between raising sons and daughters.
Go.
You raise your sons to conquer and divide, if you know what I mean, and you raise your daughters to protect and defend.
See, that's what I was thinking. I was like, you raise your daughter as if you would go to war with her. You raise your sons as to go to war with you.
Yeah, it's very, very true. That is very true.
It is. And Rozan,
yes.
If the boy is not into going to college, keep him away from it because it will be a disaster and it'll cost you a fortune. Let him find it. Let him find it on his own.
Okay.
All right, he is listening, so
He is, yeah,
do not take Craig's advice, boy.
No, listen, I love my son
no.
so much that I need him to find his path in life regardless of what I want.
Yeah, but then I don't get to brag that I have a kid that's at the Citadel.
You've
You do
got
not
me.
understand the importance of this.
You got me.
I was here for that conversation
Exactly.
like a year ago.
Go ahead, Craig.
All right. Well, the Citadel does throw a new twist into it. I get
Indeed.
that, but it's like you can meet the right person for your life. If it's at the wrong time, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he could be a colossal. It could be a colossal nightmare for him.
Yeah.
But I think a bigger nightmare is me not having that bumper sticker that says my kid goes to the Citadel. I'm being realistic.
I love my kids so much that I like I said, my pain, my hurt right now, that's mine to deal with. I need him to explore life.
Can I tell you what my grandmother said to me about my son? You just can't love him that much, okay? Calm down.
You have
See, I feel your
women
pain.
in your life.
Like, I feel your pain, Rozan. Like, I told this to Reese the other day. I was like, being a parent, one of the toughest things you realize when you're raising your child is you're doing the best to raise the person you cannot live without to live without you.
Oh my God.
Oh, Joey, Jesus Christ.
it exactly.
Do you understand what you just did? You might as well just cut the red wire. That's all you did. Right there, Joey. Thank you. You cut the red wire.
That's it exactly. That's the movie The Otherhood. That's exactly what it is. You are raising your best friend, the most amazing man that you will ever know in your entire life. You're raising him to leave you.
Yep. It's the worst thing about being a parent.
I'm done with all of you.
It is the most beautiful way to break your own heart.
Go ahead, Craig.
He's turning 18. He's turning 18. He's not joining the IDF.
Yeah. Goodbye. You're 100% right on that. Thank you, Craig. I got to get out here. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. She is Rozan on the radio. Say goodnight, Rozan.
Good night, Rozan.
We'll see you guys on Monday. Be good to each other. Joey, thank you for a wonderful week, my friend.
Thank you, people.
All right, we'll see you next time. Holler.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
All righty.
Thank you, sir.
We're in good shape now.
I knew you were going to have fun today. I knew that.
It's the only thing I'm allowed to do here.
I hear you. I'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy.
Go feeding up into Hartford. Heading on down.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Please stop crying, Rozan. I cannot do this today. Goodness gracious. Thank you, Michael A. But we will see you guys tomorrow. We love you to death. We're gonna go. We're gonna go see we'll see you on Monday. We're gonna go see the Panics tonight, and I'll tell you all about that. Maybe we get some video and stuff.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. And we'll have some fun with them. So, all right, you guys
After
be
our
good.
nap.
Have a after our nap. That's right, our nap. Y'all guys have a good one. Stay out of trouble. I love you guys. Be good to each other.